The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93
Today is National Milk Day.
Each year on January 11th, we observe National Milk Day.
Whenever I drink milk, the same thought always goes through my head. I can't help but think, like, ugh, gross. Who was the first person to do this? Who was the first person to drink milk? He had to have been the biggest creep of all time. No question, number one creep in history.
January 11th, in 1878, vendors first delivered milk in glass bottles.
I went to buy coffee recently. I was like, hello, I'd like a white coffee, please. Okay, sir, what kind of milk would you like with your coffee? We've got an oat milk, rice milk, hemp milk, soy milk. You can have it from a bean, from a pulse, from a nut, from a grain, from an oat, from a flax, from a leaf, from a seed, from a tree. I'd like it from a nipple, please.
I hope you don't mind. I got up a little early, so I took the liberty of milking your cow for you. Yeah, it took a little while to get her warmed up. She sure is a stubborn one. Then, pow, all at once.
We don't have a cow. We have a bull.
Milk was a bad choice.
Happy National Milk Day.
Showtime.
Here we go. And it's Thursday. By God, it is. And we got one back. One of the ailing and recently missing members of this radio show has returned.
I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys.
Missed you as well.
Nice to see you again, Dana.
Your distinctive voice is nice to have back on the radio, Dana.
Smashly is back from the dead. And how you feeling, young lady?
I've been better, but definitely on the up. So
you look good.
It's good. Thank you.
You don't look sick.
Thank you.
Has the gas subsided?
Yes, immensely. Thank God.
I suppose being National Milk Day, that's not going to help because you're a huge milk fan. Didn't you say you drink like a gallon a day? It's a lot.
At least half a gallon a day. I've tried to dummy it down a little because I feel like I don't need to be drinking that much milk every day. But yeah, I love milk.
Oh, I crush milk too.
We were told that all the gas was really holding you back while you were sick. We got a text from your boyfriend.
He said you were just being polite because you share a studio with other people and you didn't want to subject that.
That's why he hasn't been home much. Okay.
Dana's still down?
Well, no, that's the affair. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the gas.
Dana, not sure if that sumbitch is even still breathing, but Janelle Klein popped in again. Hello, Janelle.
Hello.
You're such a good friend.
You know what? The poor listeners.
What do you mean?
I mean, 2 days of this.
Oh, stop it with that.
You knocked that off.
I mean, I don't know. But I'm just so happy that Ashley's here.
Let me see, get a look at Smash.
She's okay.
Yeah, she looks pretty normal.
She looks great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Wonderful.
We got a text here from regular Tesla guy. Jesus said, "Oh my God, did Milk die?" That's a reference to anytime we play like a montage of someone, people think, "Oh no, so-and-so died." So, but if it's a big star or something like that, now I give a heads up in the beginning. They're not dead. It's just maybe their birthday or they've got a new album coming out or something like that.
Other people texted in about how they're with you, Ashley. They love Melk.
My wife says Melk.
They also love National Milk Day is what we're doing. I don't have much for milk stories. Anybody?
I got one.
You have a milk story.
Well, it's not really a story, but I had a friend whose brother worked at the grocery store when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And his whole shtick was, I mean, he had to unload like the trucks and everything, and he always had to do the whole dairy section.
Yeah.
So he would wait until little kids walked by, and he would like stick his head right up to the milk case behind the milk and moo. And they would just like freak out and think, and you know, and then like the parents would be like, yeah, there's a cow back there, like making milk.
My
That's
God.
adorable.
That was his deal.
thing.
And he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And he'd come home and tell us stories about it.
That was
It
top
funny.
notch.
So cute.
Yeah.
Top-notch entertainment in Faribault.
Well, yeah, when you're in like 10th, 11th grade and that's your job, like you're looking for some entertainment, right?
Yeah.
That does sound like fun.
Might as well
Yeah.
frighten some children.
Didn't your parents ever tell you about like different cows that produce different milk?
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why, the brown cows, chocolate milk? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, our parents used to tell us that.
Yeah, I just don't have many milk stories, unless I'm forgetting something. But we can all rally around National Milk Day in our own way.
Have you ever been down bad and had to use it as a chaser? I've
No.
done that
No.
once.
That
was
seems like it
bad.
would make it worse.
Yeah, it was like a house party, and this dude's house was just like trashed. It was like one of those like 3-day parties, and eventually he ran out of everything, and so people started using milk as a chaser. And I thought, okay, I'll try it.
Look, at that point, I'm just going to go without a chaser.
Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't
Let's toughen up a little bit.
the choice in that situation.
Yeah, I think
God.
I'd maybe go for water over
Yeah.
milk.
Jesus, I'm just going
Gross.
with. If all we've got left is milk, I'm just going to go straight hooch.
Has anyone here ever drank chunky milk?
Oh, yeah.
I did
Never.
that once. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like spoiled milk?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Oh,
no
gross.
fun.
Yeah, because you don't smell it first. You just open it up and drink it right away.
Yeah, sometimes obviously you can smell, okay, I shouldn't drink this. But yeah, I didn't notice anything, and it was all chunky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when
Yep.
we were kids, when we were little kids, our folks didn't pay much attention to the expiration dates on things. They still don't. But when we were little kids, our folks didn't pay much attention to what was good and what was bad in the fridge, right? So I think I have a story. My brother, I guess here you go. I do have a milk story now that someone brought up spoiled milk, that Josh brought up spoiled milk. Yeah, when I was a kid, when my brother, sister, we all had that episode where we put the carton right up to our yap and ended up having to chew it.
Ugh.
You know,
Gross. I can't imagine that.
State worker Jesus is like, wait, I'm just tuning in. Is it Milk Day or MILF Day? It's Milk Day. And a listener fun fact from Chipman Jesus, he was Milkman Jesus at one point.
Oh. What do you mean at one point he changed?
No, well, now he's Chipman Jesus.
I wonder why.
He's in the chip game.
He was delivering milk
Oh, he
for
was
a while.
delivering
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
He's a driver man.
Ah.
For a while there, he was delivering the...
I haven't seen a milkman in a long, long time.
I don't know if they're even still a thing.
Isn't the milkman supposed to be the one that was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
the postman.
Yeah.
If you got more than one kid in the family,
Yeah.
one was sired by the milkman.
Yes.
That was always the rumor.
Ashley
Yeah, we
was-
got that too. If somebody was a little different in the family, oh yeah, that was the milkman's kid.
Ashley was just telling her milk as a chaser story. One time in my life, I saw an older gentleman mix vodka and milk, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This was a right out of bed overhang medication.
Ooh,
well, at
boy.
least I can tell you this. It was kind of like what Ashley was describing. You know, when we were young, my aunt's house was kind of a party house. You know, my folks' place was the ultimate tavern. But every once in a while, we would spend, a weekend just drinking ourselves sideways at my aunt's house when we were in our early 20s. And my aunt was seeing this guy. He was kind of a hard sumbitch. He was a hard drinker. And I just remember waking up after a long night of drinking at my aunt's place, waking up on one of her couches, and the position I was lying in, I could see into the kitchen. And here comes my aunt's boyfriend, this hard case older fella. He was probably, 65, maybe coming closer to 70 at the time. And I see him walk into the kitchen, and he looks like garbage because we've been drinking our balls off. We all look like animals. But here comes old timer into the kitchen, and I'm just lying there barely conscious, and I watch him grab a bottle of vodka, and that didn't shock me. Okay, he needs a healer right from the get-go. He's in pain like the rest of us. He grabs the bottle of vodka, pours it into a glass, and I see him go to the fridge, and he gets out the bottle of milk, pours it in with the vodka, and weep, he throws it back. And I just thought, God dang. Well, I'm in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Hey, welcome to the big leagues.
Is it like it coats your stomach? Is that the whole deal?
That must be.
My assumption, Janelle, is that was his line of thinking. But maybe, I don't know. I never asked him about it. Maybe he enjoys vodka milks at all hours of the day.
Yeah.
My assumption was that might have been part of it, that it would settle his... Who knows? But it was tough to watch.
Strong Forearm Jesus said vodka and chocolate milk, mudslide.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he followed up his text by saying yuck.
Oh, he did not enjoy. I've heard of that before, a mudslide. Never asked.
Colorado mudslide.
Yeah, those aren't bad.
I never asked what it was made of. Really, vodka and chocolate milks?
Wisco Maple Syrup Jesus wants to know, have any of us ever milked a cow? I did.
Yes.
We, in grade school, we went to a working dairy farm, and they let us milk a cow.
That's so cool. I've never done that. That'd be fun.
Sure.
Yeah, I did it for working with Wapple at the Pine County Fair when I was cleaning outhouses.
That's right. Janelle, are you familiar with that?
No.
We had a bit a while ago called Working with Wapple, and he'd get out there and experience different jobs, and we get to hear about some jobs that maybe we didn't know a lot about. And it kind of like Dirty Jobs, right? The television show Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
Just far less entertaining.
Yeah, way less entertaining. A lot more bitching.
Yeah, more pitching, and not as charismatic or cool of a host.
Funny, not that.
But yeah, so it was fun. I forgot that's one that you did.
Yeah.
So what was it like, Wapple?
I don't.
It's kind of like
It felt like a bag of sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of weird. I don't know. But
It takes some getting used to, but
took
once
a long time
once
to
you
get
get
it.
the rhythm, though, Wapple,
Yep.
it becomes more automatic.
And I kept getting scared because the cow kept like kicking his back legs and stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, don't kick me in the chest.
Oh, that would scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be pretty dead.
Yep.
Being the son of a farm boy, as a young kid, every once in a while, we would pop by one of my dad's buddies' farms, and so my brother and I would squeeze some teats now and again just to help out. We were often ordered to help out. So yeah, I've milked a handful of cows, and I was always like Wapple. I was always quite intimidated by the size of the animal, and I did have at first some real fears that maybe I would be gut stomped to death, and then made fun of for being a weak-wristed 6'1"2"er. But yeah, sure. Milking cows, sure.
We have a working dairy farmer in the listening audience, so a shout out to Teat Squeezing Jesus this morning.
Nice.
So there you go. Smashley's back, and it just happens to be National Milk Day.
You're the biggest milk fan I know.
Oh, I love it so much. There was a dark time in my life, though, where I had a dream that I drank spoiled milk and then spit it out and for some reason drank it again in my dream. So I couldn't drink milk. Every time I looked at it, I was just disgusted for at least a year. It was a very dark time.
A bad dream affected your milk intake?
Yeah, every time I looked at it, I just thought of that dream and remembered that warm, sour taste. I was like, nope.
Very, very interesting, isn't it, Janelle?
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anyone that even drinks milk. And now, Ashley, I did not know that she was such a milk drinker.
Oh, yeah. Growing up, there was 4 of us in the house, but I don't think that justifies the amount of milk we had. It was 4 containers at a time, gallons.
Yeah. We had depending on the year, 8 or 9 people, and half of our fridge was milk.
Yep.
What about now? Do you still drink it?
Yeah,
You
we
do?
still have. I don't. It messes with my stomach too bad now that I'm an old man.
Yeah.
But yeah, my
yeah,
son certainly does.
When we were kids, it was a thing.
Well, that was a big part of our nutrition was mostly milk, I think, because back then it wasn't as it's expensive as it can be now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get the milk cartons, right? At school, you get that on your little tray.
We never got that.
You did?
We brought stuff from home.
Oh,
but
dude, I'm sorry.
My parents were cheap, and I was just to share this same type of thing with the original toolmaker Jesus. He texted in. It was the same with our family, so we had gone a couple times with the family to the state fair as kids. We didn't really go a lot. My parents, once we moved out, they did fun stuff all the time, and then they made it a thing where they went every year, a couple times a year. But we would get the milk booth. That was what our treat was there. So that's pretty much all we would get would be, at the time it was 5 cents.
Right.
It was 5 cents for all you can drink, and you get those little cups, and then on a super hot day you drink enough, and you're really tempting a kid to barf his way through the fair.
Like just stand there and guzzle it while you see them carve the girl in butter.
They'd fill us up. We'd get there. That's the first place we'd hit. They'd fill us up on milk, and then we'd go on with the day.
Dad, when we were kids, milk drinking was a thing. We were just told, you got to have your milk, and it would be served with dinner if, in fact, dinner was ever served at my home when I was...
Were you forced to drink it if you didn't want to, even if you weren't thirsty?
I didn't
like at the dinner table?
No, that was never a problem, Cubby, because I was okay with drinking milk, so I was fine. Sure, give me a glass of milk, whatever. But that was when we were kids. I can't remember the last time I just willingly had a glass of milk. That ended by the time the power that milk held over me as a child went away. By the time I was 15, I had completely disregarded it. So I can't even remember the last time I had it. I still eat cereal and pour a pile of milk on top, but nowadays I'd probably end up with gut rot, like Josh was saying. Not my thing. Chocolate milk is a completely different story.
I was just going to bring up chocolate milk. I remember kids who drank, I thought they were rich. I was like, whoa, chocolate milk. What's it like in being a 1%er over there? Well, hey, I just made a milk joke.
Milk joke.
I didn't even mean to.
I had to basically shut myself off from chocolate milk, or I'd probably be the size of a house right now, because that's a different story. As an adult, I would still suck down chocolate milk like I was a first grader on a field trip. I had to just shut it off. So it's not a regular thing for me, again, aside from eating a bowl of cereal once in a while. But I got an uncle, one of my uncles. Most of them are, hardcore drinkers. But there's one of them who, whenever we have dinner together, he always has a glass of milk with dinner. That's his thing. Still at his age, but...
That's how it was when we were kids. Bearded organic farmer Jesus said he used to drink a half-gallon of milk before he played in every high school basketball game.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
No, come on.
I'm not guarding him. So,
God, that sounds terrible.
Has anyone here ever witnessed or tried themselves the gallon of milk challenge?
You'll have to. I know I never tried it, but you refresh my memory as to what happens there.
Well, the idea is you chug a gallon of milk and see if you don't barf. And from what we've heard, it's impossible not to throw up after drinking a gallon of milk that quick.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Because I know we were going to try it with you once, Ashley, and then we backed out.
Yeah, because
you do throw up a lot.
And it was like a guarantee throw up too. And so I was like, I'm not going to get past that.
That's the thing. We were getting texts saying, it's impossible. She will throw up all over the studio. Don't do it.
Oh, and that would have ruined milk for me for a while.
That's true. And us, I think.
Yeah.
We really are receiving a lot of text messages on milk, or as Ashley frustratingly calls it, Melk. Some people are counting how many times you say that, and they're ready to come uncorked at any minute.
I try to fix it.
Try harder.
It's just...
Like I said, that's how my wife pronounces it, Melk.
I didn't realize there was such passion in our listening audience on milk intake, or a lack thereof. Here's an interesting text from Crazy Fish Guy Jesus. I think we all more or less share the same vibe, that it was a thing when we were kids, but now, whatever. Crazy Fish Guy Jesus says, if you can drink milk as an adult, you have a mutated gene that didn't make you lactose intolerant. Adults shouldn't be able to drink it.
Oh, is that right?
It's weird.
Well, I guess, maybe that's why, like you said, Janelle, you don't really see any of your friends or anything drinking it. Maybe that's why.
I'm fascinated that Ashley's still doing this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You got to be of a certain age to understand this joke, but dry-aged ribeye Jesus said his dad would always say, keep it up, and you'll be on the back of that milk carton. when we were growing up, I mean, how depressing when you think about it now, but they would put pictures of missing kids on the milk carton, right? And so that was the joke his dad would make.
I know it's not fair. But I do associate strawberry milk with crazy people.
I've never had strawberry milk.
Is that?
I don't drink
Is that only like you get the powder and you have to mix it?
That's what I remember it to be, Janelle.
Okay.
Because the reason I bring it up is we have received a couple of text messages on strawberry milk.
They have that Hershey's chocolate drizzle, but in strawberry form.
I don't know what Hershey's
I like that
chocolate.
one.
Yeah.
So
what's
like a
that?
syrup you just pour in there?
like syrup you'd put on your ice cream. You know that chocolate drizzle? They have it in like strawberry.
Oh, sure. The chocolate sauce that you would use to make chocolate milk as opposed to the powder. Okay. Like I said, it's not fair. But I do associate strawberry milk with crazy people because when I was growing up, one of my best buddies, I mean, he would suck down strawberry quick milk.
Oh, yep.
And he just was a junkie. And he ended up in the nut house.
Oh.
So
unrelated, I'm sure. In case big strawberry milk is listening this morning.
Whenever I hear somebody's a fan of strawberry milk, I always kind of go, uh-oh. Another one?
How about this from surgical nurse Jesus? She said that her son's fantasy league, when you lose in the league, they have to do what's called the milk mile. You drink a gallon of milk and run a mile. The loser took 47 minutes to run the mile because he couldn't stop puking.
Oh, come on.
God.
Let's knock that off, all right?
Oh,
Just
God.
make the guy buy dinner or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's awful.
You don't need people throwing up and having diarrhea over your friggin' fantasy football setup.
I remember my parents getting real pissed because they would buy that half and half creamer. They were all big coffee drinkers, right? Most of them retired alcoholics, that's why. So they would drink all this coffee. And so we would sneak that into our cereal. And, for them, that was like a luxury, that creamer, because it was expensive. So those little like half and half pints. And we would pour that in our cereal. It was so much better. And I remember getting in trouble many times over that.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Being yelled at. Yeah, we would mix that in.
Just because you were bored with regular milk?
Yeah, it was just it was just so much better.
See,
I
I'm
liked
seeing
that a lot better.
I've never had a cup of coffee in my life, so I would know nothing about, creamer. That's very interesting. I've never heard of anyone doing that. Okay, I'm not trying to make myself out to be a fool any more than I do usually. I'm not trying to set myself up for something terrible here. But a listener has texted in, if someone look this up for me, and if we can't talk about it on the radio, then we can't talk about it on the radio, fine. But maybe it's something we can discuss. Someone has texted in about something called Malibu milk. I have a terrible feeling that's a sexual reference or something. Malibu milk?
I wonder if it's Malibu rum and milk.
I see. I thought it was a nickname for something.
Oh, there's something called, what's MYLK? Malibu MY. It's like an unsweetened organic flax milk.
Okay.
Is that possibly what they're talking about?
I have no idea. I was nervous that it was a slang term for a money shot or something. I'm just...
I'm not seeing anything like that.
Malibu... Wapple's probably right. They're just talking about mixing... I didn't even consider Malibu rum. Is that what you called it?
Yeah.
With a glass of milk.
My girlfriend's brother-in-law, he likes to drink Captain Morgan, so rum and orange juice.
Ew.
And he says that it tastes like a dreamsicle, apparently. Huh. But it sounds disgusting to me.
So banana milk. I've never tried that. A lot of people texted in saying banana milk is awesome. I'm assuming banana flavored milk. School bus driver Jesus said, hands down, the best milk is in March. Quick Trip sells mint milk for a limited time.
Oh.
Said it tastes like you're drinking a Shamrock Shake.
No way.
Huh.
Oh, I'll have to watch out for that.
Yeah.
All of that sounds great. It really does. Banana flavored milk. What'd you say? Mint flavored milk. But I'm telling you, I would be a mess. My stomach would just up and abandon me. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, I want to try the banana and the mint. But like you said, it'd have to be just a tiny bit.
Oh, banana milk. I bet that would be so good in Cheerios.
Nowadays, everyone, what is it, coconut milk? Is that what everyone...
Yeah.
And almond milk.
Oh, that's the other one. I was going to say, okay, thank you for that, because, for God's sake, I'm going to get aggravated. My friggin' wife!
Why do you get aggravated?
I don't know why. I kind of black
lovely.
out. I black out for a second.
You've only been married a few months.
She drinks those different kinds of milks, and I think it's the coconut one that I spit across the room like I was on a 50s comedy show. It tasted so bad to me.
I've never just drank. I've had it in other stuff. Like they put it in, what's that stuff? The curry. right?
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Curry, I enjoy it there. So we've got almond milk at the house for a neighbor kid. A neighbor kid loves it, so we just started stocking it because he comes
cute.
over, has cereal, and he drinks the almond milk.
I really like those different milks. If I put them in my coffee, then they're really good.
Yeah, I've never
That
tried
way.
any of those.
This was a cereal situation where I always just bought regular. I didn't care what it was. 1, 2, skim, I don't care. So that was I just grabbed whatever was closest. I don't have a preference there. But then suddenly I get tied up with this lady who now has become my friggin' wife, and she brings coconut milk and almond milk into the mix. And I remember I'm fairly certain about this. I put almond milk on the cereal, and I was fine with it. But when that coconut hit my lips, I spit it across the room. I did.
Do they sweeten it when you just have it? I've never had it just on its own.
I don't know how they put it together.
Do you just hate coconut? Or
No, I don't know, Janelle. It just hit my lips,
Yeah.
and I said,
love coconut.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
But my favorite kind of nut, these nuts. Quick Trip. People are saying Quick Trip has root beer milk.
What? I've never
What
noticed
are
that.
we missing out at Quick Trip?
I guess because when none of us, aside from Cubby, none of us have kids. We don't know anything about this stuff.
God.
If you have kids, I bet you know every stinking different style of, you know what I'm talking about? Because it's
Yeah.
milk is a kid's thing.
I
It is.
just go to Quick Trip for like treats. I never go to the milk section.
They've got a good.
I do.
They've got a lot of good food. That's for
I
sure.
go there
Yeah.
I like to get their cigarettes. Yeah, they got good cigarettes.
Yeah.
Good news for mint milk fans or those that want to try it. People are saying you can get it right now at Quick
No
Trip.
way.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
totally going to go buy
we
some
know
today.
where we're going.
Yum.
I remember being at a strip joint one night where one of the strippers was taking her time to go table to table and criticize everyone's milk choices. She was stunning. I remember her name. Betty. Stunning.
That sounds like a stunning name.
So she
That
comes
was
over.
my grandmother's name, Dynamic Rack. Unfortunately, I know this firsthand, Ash. Or Janelle, sorry.
Is there a story you'd like to share?
Well, I've mentioned it before. It's the first pair I ever saw.
Oh, God. Are you kidding?
And I was at the age, right? I was a
no.
teenager, a young teen, 14, 15 years old. I can't remember. And the way so in the commune I grew up in, my cousin and I shared a room.
Uh-huh.
And when we walked out of it to get to the bathroom, I'd have to walk out of my room, take a right, and down the end of the hall, that's where my grandmother lived. Or, that was her room. And for whatever reason, this is the middle of the night, I gotta take a leak. She's got her door open and she's standing there changing, completely topless. Like, why would you not close the door and all that kind of... So I saw what was going on, and I turned around and I went back to bed, probably wetted. I was a bedwetter far too late in life.
God dang.
But that was the first pair I ever saw.
You had never heard that story
I've
before,
never
Janelle?
heard
And the worst part about it, Janelle, is they were fantastic.
Are you still thinking about it?
Well, not on purpose.
He tries not to.
But I mean, honestly, if somebody's like, oh, can you think of the hottest pair you've ever seen? I have to go back to that day.
Can you guys imagine a worse thing happening to Josh, who's like the nicest person and also feels extreme guilt?
Oh, I
about
still do. I feel like I did something wrong. We never spoke of it.
Oh my God.
And I lived with my grandma the majority of my life.
Yeah.
Until I moved out, pretty much.
You
So-
mean she knew that you saw?
Oh, yeah, we locked eyes and she covered up.
That makes it so much worse.
She looked horrified. I must have looked horrified.
That's awesome.
I think that's what gave me epilepsy, Janelle.
And you're right, Janelle. He carries these things to his
Yes.
grave. He will be carrying this to his grave.
I know.
To his grave.
Oh,
The nice
Josh.
thing is, and this really is touching, is that since I've mentioned this traumatic story from my childhood before, people via text never give me any crap about it.
No, I'm sure not.
They're very supportive. They never remind me of it
No.
constantly.
Right. God, I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah, it's something that, if they ever, you see some of these sci-fi shows where they can erase portions of your memory. Maybe it's like a military thing to go on a secret mission and
Yeah.
they just erase it from the operative's memory. I want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'll give it to somebody else because you'd like it. I mean, somebody else would probably really enjoy that.
Oh, man. Oh, geez, look at the... Oh, I never wrapped up my story about Betty. Betty, the stripping milk critic from the strip joint years ago. Gorgeous gal. And I actually got to know her a little bit from my frequent, what's the term in the business, Josh? Clienting of my frequent, what's the...
appearances, promotions?
There's a word. Well, I was a customer there a lot. Anyway, so she walks up to our table, and I guess looking back, I understand it. She's got to walk around for 8-10 hours at this strip joint, try to make some money. Maybe you want to just, keep the conversation interesting. So she walks up to our table and, hello, how's everyone doing? She's very friendly and, like I said, gorgeous. And she says, you guys drink milk? And we were kind of thrown by the question. Well, I guess maybe when we were kids. So then she goes around the table and asks what everyone's favorite style of milk is. 2%, 1%. What are some of the others? Homogenized, whole milk. And she would wait for someone to say that their favorite is skim, and then she would lambaste them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Love that.
That's what my parents bought as kids.
So I thought that was very interesting and funny. She waited for one of my buddies to say, well, I kind of like skim milk. And then she said, oh, what do you... She just went after them. I can't think of it. Okay?
Yeah, that's gross.
So I thought that was really interesting that I noticed she was doing that at every table. That was how she spent her evening.
Good for her.
Every table, I'm watching her walk up and say, hey, you guys like milk? Then it went from there.
That's a weird... I don't know how I'd respond to that question. I would think I'm being set up. Yanking, tanking, and pushing, cranking Milkman Jesus checking in this morning, delivering the milk for all of us.
It's National Milk Day, and by God, it's held our conversation for a smooth half hour.
Who would have thought?
I didn't think it was possible. So here we go. We got Smashley back. We got Janelle Klein. It's Thursday. We got plenty more for you. Stick around. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud. They lose control. They do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
Get an inside look at Hollywood with Michael Rosenbaum.
Let's get inside of Jennifer Love Hewitt.
It's dangerous, I think, to say to women, you can't look like you're not 22 to me anymore because I don't know how to take that. Okay, well, that's your problem because I'm 44. This is what I look like. By the way, she was a looker. Like, congratulations to that 23 or 25.
But I'm a different person now.
You know?
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Wherever you listen. Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, on to the stupid news. Although it seems like we could continue talking about milk until 9 a.m. Josh announced earlier it's National Milk Day. My original thought was, where the hell can we go with that? We talked for a half hour about friggin' milk, and there's still texts coming in on milk. Like, say this. I think we all more or less established that it's mainly a thing for kids. Once most of us grow up, we aside from pouring milk on a cereal or mixing it in with your mac and cheese, adults don't spend a lot of time drinking gallons and gallons of milk. I think maybe there might be something wrong with you if you're an adult and you're still chugging. Here's a great story from working at Wapples Jail Sheezes. She must work at the joint where they put you when you got your DWI.
Yeah, probably in Anoka County.
Here's a sign that something might be wrong with you if you're an adult and you're still chugging milk. See, because I've always thought there was something really, really shady about David Ortiz. Anybody else get that vibe from him? Nobody I'm serious. I'm still waiting for the big story to come out. Nobody smiles and laughs that much unless they're covering something terrible. So I've always thought from the get-go there's something effing shady about David Ortiz. And listen to this story. Former Twin, the big league ball player, I'm sure most folks know who I'm talking about, working at Wapples Jail Sheezes, says, when David Ortiz was brand new to the Twins, he was doing an appearance at Benchwarmer Bob's in Burnsville with J.C. Romero and Denny Hocking. For you early 2000s Twins fans, he was making a public appearance with J.C. Romero and Denny Hocking. Working at Wapples Jail Sheezes offered to buy him a drink, and he ordered a tall glass of milk.
Isn't that what you call someone who's cute? Boy, you're a tall glass of... Oh, no. It's not milk.
Tall drink of water.
Tall drink of water. See, you could use that. You're a tall glass of milk.
That might confuse them, but
Right.
yeah.
I suppose. Maybe at farmersonly.com or something, you know what I mean? That might impress.
It could work in certain areas.
Tall drink of water.
So we just heard from working at Wapple's jail Jesus, excuse me, right? That's what she said. Wapple, were you pulled over last night?
No. So the Fridley police last night, I was at Two Stooges bar. So I get there, and the 93X truck's parked up on the curb and in front of the bar. So I walk in, and then the police are standing there, and they're like, so you drove the 93X truck? And I'm like, no, I drove myself. And then the person I was working with kept saying, no, I didn't drive it, you did. And then they handed me a citation. They said, you drove the truck, here's a citation for you. It said, just kidding, from Not a Cop Jesus.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, Not a Cop Jesus texted in and said, please tell Wapple I'm sorry for the ticket, in quotation marks, I had to give him last night.
Yep.
And I don't want to call anybody out, but over the years, with the text from Not a Cop Jesus, I'm starting to think he is a cop, and he's trying to throw us off that scent.
Well, last night he definitely looked like a cop.
Yeah.
And he
sketchy.
is handsome.
I would think so. Of course, he's a 93X listener.
Not a cop. Jesus is a cop. I
friggin'
knew it.
I don't want to say for sure, but I've started to... He texts about a lot of cop stuff, but then he tells us he's not a cop, which is illegal. You have to tell us you're a cop, otherwise the ticket doesn't count.
I was going to say, maybe he just dresses like a cop to throw us off the scent that he's not a cop.
Oh, don't put that in my head now. That'd be pretty creepy.
More text messages on Milk, and this is from one of my favorite Jesus names. There's a lot of great ones, Jesus and Jesus names. We love that gimmick. It's just been such a fun gimmick to be involved in now for years, with our listeners texting in and giving themselves an interesting Jesus or She's name. One of my favorites texted in, and that's Y'all Need Jesus. I love that one. Y'all Need Jesus has texted in. He milked cows his whole life, grew up on a farm, and he says, now we got robots to do the job for him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that great?
Milking machine.
I used to know an old fella, is how you say that, from up north. Dairy farmer his whole life. He checked out a couple years ago, but he was a dairy farmer his whole life, and the last, 10 years of his life, he got to just kind of kick back and watch the machines do it. And many times he said, never dreamed something like this would be possible. It's fascinating, I think.
I like to think that back in the olden days, he had that little tiny stool with 3 legs on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I picture.
He was, Wapple, he was older than the damn hills. Yeah. So, yeah, he had that 3-toed stool, and, he had the whole work. The overalls, covered in feces.
Yeah, the oat grass or whatever it is hanging from his mouth, wheatgrass.
Now, I did have somebody text in. I don't know if they're playing with me or not. But, Ashley says she still drinks milk. Some guy texted in. I don't know if he's trying to scare you or what, Ashley. But he says he wonders if you would enjoy milk as much if you knew how much pus was legally allowed in every gallon of milk or something like that.
People have tried that with me, and I don't care. I don't care.
I don't know if that... It's like, when folks try to talk me out of being a hot dog eater because they talk about, it's 10% mouse nuts and 11% bird lips and things like that. And I don't care. I'll always eat hot dogs. So I've never heard this pus thing before.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's true, I believe, from what I've heard, like, that there's stuff in milk that I would not enjoy. But
well, all food, right? There's certain limits of things you wouldn't.
Spiders and right, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think
like
about that
spider
stuff
legs,
too much.
or, hair from this or that.
Yeah, rodent hair. And
yeah.
Well, how much pus can you tolerate, Janelle? Is there a percentage that you...
There's a couple...
I've never thought about that being in milk. I don't know.
Wait, but how much do you think you could handle?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
What if they filtered out the milk? Could you drink
just
what's
left
left?
the
Just the pasta. Waffle, some people are texting in with a question for you about not a cop Jesus, who I suspect is a cop. Is he you said he's handsome.
Yes.
Would you call him a tall drink of milk?
Yes, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
That's great. All right, you bastards. Oh, wow. All right, so I kind of warmed you up to stupid news story number 1. I kind of warmed you up with that, bringing up that pus conversation, because this one might make your stomach feel a little bit funny by the time we're through with this here story. Next time your stomach is feeling a little iffy and you're worried about what might be going on in there, just remember that it's probably nothing out of the ordinary. But also remember that it might be live worms swimming around freely inside your guts.
No.
It could happen to you. It could.
My uncles used to scare me because I've always been a big eater. And
you can put it down.
Yeah, and so they'd make fun of me and they'd say, you got a tapeworm. And then when they explained it to me, like a giant worm that was in that would be eating the food. That's why I could eat so much.
Right.
To the point where I had to ask my parents, do I have a tapeworm? I was terrified.
When you look at Cubby, and look at him, everybody.
Don't look.
No, look at the son of... He's adorable.
Tall drink of milk.
He's so cute and compact, and he keeps himself, very presentable. You'd never imagine that. I got to be totally honest. The first time I sat down and had a meal with Josh, I almost couldn't stand it because he ate so furiously.
I don't as much anymore, but I did, and it's because, you grew up in a house with a lot of people, and you got uncles and brothers and cousins that don't mind stealing food off your plate if you look to the left or right.
It's like a pack of dogs.
Oh, yeah, I have one uncle who everyone would give him crap because he would hover over his plate with his arms out. He was the youngest of 8, right? So he kind of was used to this. All but one. He has one sister, the rest are brothers. So he'd hover over his plate and just guard it so nobody could eat his food and just shovel it in. So that's the house I grew up in. You had to eat as fast as possible. Otherwise, you also weren't going to get seconds because somebody else was going to take that from you.
If there even was seconds available. The first time I had a meal with Josh, it was tough because he ate like it was a timed competition. And if I remember correctly, it was Arby's. So you kind of had mayo on one side of your
mayo,
face.
but Arby's sauce for sure.
Horsey sauce.
And the mustard on his sleeve. And I thought, I don't know if I can hang out with this guy.
When you guys met, was it love at first sight?
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We hit it off from the damn get-go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So here's a guy over there in China. He went to the hospital for a routine surgery, and his doctors found live worms squirming up and down inside his abdomen. It says here there were 5 large brown parasitic worms in there.
Just put me down. I wouldn't be able to handle it.
The doctors, of course, had to pull the worms on out of there. The worms put up a fight, but they were able to grab them with 2 hands and then strangle them to death there on the operating table. The worms let out a terrible scream as they died. The doctors identified the worms as some kind of mega parasite called the Chinese liver fluke, F-L-U-K-E, fluke. They're normally found in East Asia and Eastern Russia, but cases have been reported here in the United States. Do you want to know how to have your intestines become the next swimming hole for big brown worms?
Ooh, I think I know.
Go ahead.
Sushi. Or like raw fish.
So sushi or raw fish.
Okay. Sometimes you can just eat raw fish, and then sometimes, sushi.
Just for fun? I'm not going to tell you the answer now. No, you're on. You're on to it. It says here, first you have to swallow their larvae. The larvae. Here in the United States, Okay, Wapple, here's where I'm going to give you a point for your correct answer. Folks might get a mouthful of that worm larvae if they eat contaminated fish imported from faraway places. He's close enough, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. And here's the deal. If you get these worms in your belly, you might not even know it. And if your doctor never finds them in there, in your guts, it says here those little slithering sumbitches can live inside your body for 30 years.
Sick. I wonder if you have, after a decade or so, it starts controlling your thoughts.
Cubby?
And then eventually your actions.
I think you're right. I think if those effing things are swimming around your insides for that long, you're more worm than you are human at that point. And you spend the rest of your life traveling with an old school second-rate circus freak show going by the name of Worm Man.
Somebody cuts you in half and just both sides slither away as if nothing happened. This person, back to eating fast, grew up in a house that whoever ate the fastest got the mostest. That was our house, too. That was our saying in our house, too. Anybody else have that saying?
No.
You guys never support me. Oh. The botfly also freaks me out.
What's going on?
Oh, yeah, it can like burrow into you or whatever.
Yeah, isn't that the one that... there was, I think the last time I looked it up, they showed pictures of it like busting out of people's skin.
Oh.
Yeah.
The botfly has you concerned.
I just watched a video of doctors pulling a worm out of someone's abs. That was disgusting.
Abs?
Yeah. Ugh,
like gross. Directly out of their stomach muscles? Their defined stomach muscles?
It said doctors pull worm out of abs. Ugh.
Well, none of us have to worry about abs.
No, we're good.
No, we're not. I don't think we got a lot of abs amongst the five of us here. But yeah, I think if the worms take you over for that long, you become more worm than you are human. I think you're right about that, Josh.
It's got to affect you somehow, don't you think?
Yeah. And you don't want to end up on that circus freak show tour.
Equestrian Jesus brings up a good point. Do the worms get squatters' rights if they're there long enough? Yeah, you can't evict the worms over a certain amount of time. Squatters' rights. I'd love to learn more about that someday and how that became a thing.
Blows my mind.
What do I have here for you now? You know, we may not have cut abs on this show, but I don't think the five of us here need to. I don't think we need to bother learning about the latest beauty tips because we're all gorgeous. Aesthetically, very attractive. But just for the hell of it, what I have here in front of me is some information on the latest routine, the latest beauty routine that folks are falling for. It's supposed to, number one, get rid of the wrinkles in your face.
The face.
And it will apparently also help you avoid what they call here the puffy pillow face look. Anybody have that problem?
Not that I'm aware of.
Sometimes.
I hope you guys let me know if I ever get it.
And of course, this routine is ridiculous. You know, the latest beauty gimmicks are never anything normal or simple, like, you know, drink more water or stop scrubbing your face with a toilet brush. If it's simple or normal, if it's a simple or normal beauty tip, nobody's going to talk about it. So it's always something wildly bizarre these days. So here it is. If you want to get rid of wrinkles and your stupid, puffy face, they say go ahead and inject your face with salmon sperm. The story goes on to say that one of the most extreme beauty rituals, what I just told you, in injecting your face with salmon sperm, this is set to become popular in the brand new year of 20 plus 24. Facial injections of salmon sperm.
Would anyone here do that if they felt their face needed some help? And,
No.
And it's proven effective.
No injections of any kind.
Not even like a Botox.
No needles in the face. Just freak me out.
I could see my girlfriend doing it. She's all about Botox. She's a injector. So she injects fillers and lips and Botox.
So she's open to a sperm injection?
I'm sure she would be.
Yeah. Face and everything you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right on the face.
Yeah, I got a buddy whose wife does Botox, my wife, and I can't tell a difference at all.
Really?
And I'm not the most observant person. But I really can't tell. And she can point it out. Oh, they had Botox, they had Botox.
Yeah.
Unless it's completely obvious where someone's enraged and their face looks the same as it did before they were enraged, maybe I could tell. But I can't tell at all. Can you guys tell?
I think I'm pretty good at it.
I think the other night I had the Golden Globes on. So, of course, you have all the movie stars. I mean, I don't know if you can, I don't think I could pick it out, but they definitely look different. And
Every
you can't
damn
really
last-
put your finger on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Every damn last one of those folks is shot up with something.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Something's been removed or replaced or plastic has been. I think I'm fairly good at picking that type of thing out, Cubby.
I'm good at it.
Botox.
I wish I was better at it.
Well, I know you'll be all right.
I can't tell at all.
Yeah,
And,
I'm the same way.
So you can't either, Ashley?
No, unless it's like you were saying, really obvious, and it's like, oh yeah, it definitely has Botox. But yeah, like the small little injections that people get, like the only time I ever notice is if it's in the lips.
That's fillers.
Yeah.
This is the second sperm injection story I think we've had in the last week or so. Listeners are texting in. Do you remember the guy who was obviously out of his mind? He had lower back pain, so he was injecting his own sperm into his arm, and it caused this terrible abscess. It's just, I don't know what.
Remember, there was like a bubble.
There was a bubble.
Yeah. What?
There was Janelle.
That was bad, Janelle.
I'm sorry, Janelle, but there was.
There was a sperm bubble that needed to be lanced.
Oh my
Is
God.
what it was. It was growing on his arm.
Was this in Stupid News?
Yes,
This
it
was in
was.
Wisconsin.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding you. Yes, it was in the stupid. Okay, so whatever. So they do say this procedure is like Botox. You need to repeat this bit around 3 times a year. We're back to now talking about shooting salmon sperm into your face.
I think I want to try the Botox just to test if you guys can tell the difference. Oh, you all said you can.
You should.
So, well, Ashley, you said you can.
I look at your friggin' mug every day. I'm fairly certain I could tell the difference.
Make an angry face. Yeah, you got some lines going.
Do I really?
Yeah, right in between, like right by your.
So it would get rid of between my eyebrows?
Yeah, it would get rid of those lines so you look younger. Because Botox is used as a preventative of getting older, so you're supposed to keep doing it, and it's like an anti-aging thing.
Thank you for the.
Yeah. Quick rundown on Botox.
Does anybody else feel like Will Ferrell just gave a speech in Old School?
Yeah. Sounds like Wapple picked up a book recently.
No,
thank you for stating the obvious, Wapple, as to what. That was the cutest thing that's happened all day.
I just want to take note that I've never even seen Josh annoyed, and we've now seen him angry.
I just showed you how angry I was.
Yeah.
He was more like a pirate.
So are you saying so? Now I kind of just scrunched my face a little bit.
Yeah.
It goes away with Botox?
Yeah. If you get so many treatments, it depends on how many units you need.
I got 1 unit for you. Butcher's Hack Jesus said, Nick, you could notice Botox, but you didn't notice your old girlfriend got her teeth completely fixed. That's a good point.
A very good point.
That's true.
I missed that.
God.
A girlfriend you were with? And
Yes.
she, what?
This was years and years ago. I dated this gal twice. The second time I dated her, we were together for about 3 years. And after we broke up, unfortunately, I was at the bar with another gal, and the gal said something like, you know, your ex, boy, she was really a nice person, and, you know, it's a shame that you two didn't, you know, make it, or however she said it. And I said, yeah, she's a great gal. We just couldn't quite, you know, get her done. And this gal says to me, I mean, she really kind of made an effort for you. And I said, well, what do you mean? And this other person said, well, you know, she went and got all her teeth fixed for you. And I said, huh? And they said, well, yeah, she got all this dental work done to make her teeth as straight as... And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it was true. She got her teeth fixed up and down. I mean, not that she was some kind of jagged, gargoyle, but she did have some dental procedures done to please me, I guess, and I never noticed a thing.
She never said, "Oh, I'm
she
going
never
to the dentist
said anything.
today."
She never said a word. I feel bad, I guess, at this point, because I should have said, "Hey, wow, you look." I don't know how much time do you spend looking at somebody's teeth? Thankfully, maybe for me personally, maybe the answer hopefully is not very often, because my teeth aren't very pretty to look at. But no, I never noticed, never knew.
My brother got me in trouble once because my wife got 6 inches of her hair cut off at one point. And she had really long hair for a long time, and I didn't notice at all. It didn't say a word, and she never said anything, right? But it bothered her that I didn't notice. And my brother came over, and he's like, "Oh, you chopped a bunch of hair off." Like,
no.
Who, me? No, her.
No.
She's like, "Yeah, I've had this for like 2 weeks. Dummy over here didn't even notice."
Yeah, that sucks.
Not to make myself out to be an even more self-absorbed and inattentive prick, but this was the same girlfriend who, while I was dating her, before we broke up, one of my buddies asked me about her and asked what she did for a living, and I had to honestly say, I have no idea.
I don't blame you for that, because there's people I know very well whose job I do not understand.
Agreed.
If you say I drive truck, or I'm a mechanic, or I'm a construction, something like that, you get it. Maybe you don't have experience, but you understand what they do. But there's some sort of consultant or strategist or something like that. And usually, by the way, the jobs you don't understand, they get paid the most.
Right. Yeah.
I've noticed when they explain what they do and I don't get it, that they're probably making a lot of money. So I can't blame you for that, because she was in that line of work.
In her case, and I think this is a good thing, we never talked about work. I think that's a good thing. I mean, sure, you have to have some obvious conversations about work from time to time with your significant other, but we were young. We partied hard.
You knew where she worked.
I could point out the building, and I know that it was an office environment, but I could not tell this friend of mine who said, "Hey, what's your girlfriend do for a living?" I could not tell him any specifics. I said, "She goes to an office. That's all I can give you." and he looked at me like I was a madman. But we were young and partying hard, and we just didn't get involved in things like that.
Maybe this just means you guys like your girlfriends and wife for their personality. Right?
Exactly.
Right? Like, looks don't matter.
Janelle, you are our new agent for putting a positive spin on our stupidity.
I'm here for you guys.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. So yeah, don't worry about your hair, your teeth, whatever. I'm not even going to notice. Gorilla Man Jesus said, "I don't even know what my parents do." LOL. It gets kind of confusing.
All right, I think we got time for one more here. The miracle of childbirth, right, Cubby?
It's something. Anybody here seen it?
No.
I have.
Videos.
Just on videos?
Yeah, in like 10th grade health class.
Oh, really? We didn't watch anything like that.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, my God.
Not at all. No videos, nothing.
It's like the best birth control when you're 15 or whatever.
I bet.
I don't remember if we ever watched those videos. Maybe I slept through them. I've never seen, puppies and cows and things like that, but I've never seen a child fall out of a grown person. But Cubby's been on the ground floor for that.
I have.
You've been there for it.
To me, it looked like what I'd imagine it would look like if you saw a dinosaur yawning. That's what happened. Where I thought, how did that become that and allow that to come out of that? It was very confusing to me. I thought I was getting away without... Yeah, I thought I could chicken out and nobody would know, because I was up top.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just film from the top. That's all I'm doing, right? And, it's too busy down where the action is.
Yeah.
And the doctors at last second said, I'm an idiot. I'm going to put a mirror right here so she can see what's going on. And I thought, oh, no, there's no angle I can avoid it. I saw everything. It was a miracle. It was beautiful, Janelle.
Did you cry? Did you faint? What did you do?
When everything happened? Well, I was just more kind of amazed at the human body.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that's kind of crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
One of our listeners by the name of Michael has texted in to say that he's never seen a child born, but he has seen the making of.
Do they ever videotape that?
Sometimes.
Do they really?
There are folks.
What?
For posterity?
I'm not sure what the hell is going on here, but in our final stupid news story for today, a female inmate down there in Florida, Summers, she claims that she has become pregnant through an air conditioning vent.
Oh, all right, girl.
I saw this one.
That's someone who gets caught cheating, right?
The mother-to-be goes by the name of Daisy Link. Daisy Link. She's a 28-year-old gal. She's sitting in the Stony Lonesome because of a second-degree murder charge. Well, that's no good. She claims that a fellow inmate somehow knocked her up through an air conditioning vent. So, my first question is, there's dudes incarcerated with the ladies these days?
That's what I was wondering.
But Wapple, I do remember seeing a documentary once where people are in prison and they did have gals on one level, guys on another in the same facility. So, I guess we'll just have to accept the thought that there are men incarcerated in the same building as women. She says the inmate passed a loaded, if you know what I'm saying, rubber glove over to her cell through an air conditioning vent. And next thing she knew, she's got a damn, how do they say it in the old days, a bun in the oven.
It's a miracle.
Is that possible?
Next thing I know.
Yeah.
It is possible?
I mean, I don't know how, I'm not exactly sure how long the contents can survive.
See, I thought that they died instantly.
Oh, no.
Definitely not instantly.
No, because
whoever told you that?
Going, not to gross anyone out, but, going through all the in vitro and, all that kind of stuff, you could collect, like, at home and bring it in. And, actually...
Really?
Yeah, let me look it up, how long it lasts.
And so, they'd give you, like, a cup, aiming's not easy. But, so they would tell you, you have a certain amount of time.
When you're on your tiptoes, aiming is not easy. There's a certain amount of time that...
Yeah, and so, what they told us, they're like, hey, and maybe they were messing with us, but they said one of the better things you can do is have your wife bring it in her cleavage.
Keep it warm.
Yeah, to keep it warm.
That I never had any idea. I thought...
I started laughing. I thought they were joking.
Yeah.
They're like, no, for real. That keeps it, like you said, Nick, it keeps it warm.
I thought those little suckers were dead on arrival unless the finish happened in the friendly confines, if you know what I'm saying.
It says here, when I look it up, everywhere says about 30 minutes.
I'll be damned.
That sounds about right.
I'll be damned. So... this is possible that someone could pass a rubber glove through an air conditioning vent and then she takes it from there. Apparently this gal is now 3 months along in her pregnancy. Some of you might get a kick out of this here because of how this story all went down. The prison where this story originated from has been given the nickname of the Nut House. Are you following that?
That's good.
You got any ideas for naming this baby? I think you got to name this baby AC. Mm-hmm. Right?
Definitely.
Like AC Slater from, what was that television show called?
Saved by the Bell.
Kids at the School. Yeah, Saved by the Bell. You got to call this kid AC.
Somebody recommends calling, I wish I could find who said this, and I apologize, Breezes. It's like Jesus, but cooler. How about Breezes for the name?
Right. That's very, very interesting. So you guys are all buying it. We're buying it? That's how it worked out?
Oh, it's possible.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
because, they told us too, like, you could take the, Nick's not familiar with the term, but condoms, you guys know what they are, right? Nick's never subscribed or anything like that.
Keep talking.
You could take that, and then they'll, funnel it where it needs to go.
Yeah, it's great to learn things really, really, really late in life. It is. It's eye-opening and it's fun.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm so grateful to the coaches that have been with us for so many years that put up with my stuff and found a way, to bring it to life daily. And that's it for now. And as my all-time mentor, Bud Grant, said, not in so many words, there's rivers to wade, there's waves to catch, and there's mountains to hike.
Who dat?
Pete Carroll.
Oh,
talking about leaving the Seahawks.
Oh, damn.
Got a little emotional.
Did he really?
He did, yeah.
And he quoted Bud Grant.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm a fan. I knew that he worked here, for the Vikings.
Yep.
I knew he knew Bud, but on his way out, he quotes Bud Grant.
He did.
Then I'm gonna say I'm a Pete Carroll fan.
It made Cubby choke up a little bit watching that, and I took out a lot of the stuff, the emotional stuff. It was just I didn't want to bring anybody down, but you could tell he was pretty affected.
Well, that's something. One of my favorite drinking buddies. He's one of these guys, when he sees Pete Carroll on television, it ruins his whole day.
Oh, really?
He's just, everyone I think's got that celebrity or sports personality where just looking at him, you go, God help us, I can't stand that person. That Pete Carroll is that guy for one of my drinking buddies. Maybe when he finds out that Pete quoted Bud Grant, he'll change his mind.
But isn't that nice, kind of, when there's somebody that maybe irks you a little bit, and then you find out some information and it doesn't bother you anymore?
Yeah.
Who would your number one? I know because there's 100, 150 people that you can't stand just looking at.
There's a lot of them.
And that's just sports. I'm limiting that to sports.
Right.
Who would be number one right this second?
Hey, just off the top of my head, you're right, there's a lot. I'm a hateful person. I am. There's a lot of people, celebrities, athletes, where I just can't even stand the sight of them. But the one that came to mind, and that's, I think, the only fair way to play this, the one that came to mind just when you asked me the question was that Danny McBride dude.
Oh, so we're not talking sports here, but yeah, Danny, he's the first person that popped in your mind?
That was the first person that came to mind. I can't stand the sight of the guy.
I thought you were going to say Rodgers.
Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just playing it fair and going with the first thing that came to mind.
Who's Danny McBride?
He's an actor. You don't want to know.
Okay.
You don't want to know.
So you don't find him funny ever?
Not at all.
Really?
Nope. I want to punch him in his face.
I get that it's the same shtick, but that's a lot.
Same character every single effing time.
No, I can't. I understand what you're saying, and I see some of those same annoyances I get. Like I see, but I think he can be pretty funny sometimes.
Well, it sucks to be wrong, Josh. Something cosmic happened today. I know we're jaw-jacking up and down here. I don't know what's gotten into us lately. We're going to run late here, but something really, truly cosmic happened today, and I want to make sure that everyone's part of it. When I walked in the building this morning, I always, maybe not always, but every once in a while, I like to say hello to Josh in a derogatory way.
Yeah, usually, a few times a week for sure.
Yeah, a few times a week.
And you always vary it up.
Yeah, I try to vary it up.
You do.
What's up, dickhead?
That kind of thing.
Hey, fat ass. Things like that. Just because we're tight, and that's what bros do for each other. This morning, I really thought I pulled one out of nowhere. I walked in, I said, what's going on, fur burger?
And I haven't heard that in a long time.
And the reason why I dumped it on him is for this. I hadn't heard that, fur burger. That I thought I'm going to go old school on him. And right away he said, wow, that was great. I haven't heard that in a long. I got a text message from a guy this morning, and he uses the word fur burger in his message.
Whoa.
That's like a cosmic thing.
That happens a lot around here. And I hope this isn't boring, but how many times have you come in and I'll be like, have a song on that you listen to on the way in somehow.
Right.
Just like weird stuff like that.
It's, I don't know any other word than cosmic. It's like a psychic.
Is serendipity the right word?
Yeah.
But so isn't that weird? I call Cubby a fur burger out of nowhere. It hasn't been used anywhere in America in decades, and now we got a text message from a listener. We were talking about birth videos, and the guy texted in and said, we had to watch a birth video in high school, and the lady had a big old fur burger.
There are some pretty funny terms.
Sorry, Janelle.
For giving birth. Some of them we can't read. I wish we could. But some of them we can't read. I've never heard this one from bacon-loving craft beer snob Jesus. He said he has 2 kids, both born via C-section, and he watched them, be born, and said he calls it taking the sunroof exit.
That's great.
That's clever.
All right, this was intended to be a quick sports report. I'll just tell you real quick. Wolves lost in Boston. I'm going to lose my temper in a half hour when we talk about that. The Pigs got absolutely destroyed in Texas. And I guess the other big news is that Nick Saban guy is retiring from coaching college football. Randy Shaver will be here in about a half hour. Stay tuned for Josh's news report.
Half-assed morning show. They're loud. They lose control. They do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X. Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
What companies deserve your hard-earned dollar? Which would you want to work for? How can you know if they share your values? Just ask us. Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks who really means business in supporting workers, customers, communities, the environment, and shareholders. We measure progress, track success, and help them be better. When you see the Just Capital seal, you know what's real, because just business is better business. Visit justcapital.com to learn who makes your dollar count.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Come on, dude, open up the door! Open up the door! Your car's on fire! Pull him out! Pull him out! Is there anyone in the car? Just you?
Dramatic body cam footage released Monday captured officers from the state of Virginia working together to pull a driver from a car engulfed in flames. The footage starts with a car passing an officer at 88 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. You can travel back in time, I think, at that speed. An officer is seen activating his emergency lights, after which the speeding driver turns off his lights to try and elude the officer, police said. In compliance with the department's pursuit policy, the cop stopped pursuing that vehicle, switching off his lights and slowing down his car. Soon after, however, footage showed the officer encountering the suspect down the road when it crashed into a tree and the engine caught fire. The doors were locked. There was no easily accessible entry point, so the officer and a bystander tried to break the driver's side window. The officer also used a fire extinguisher to douse the flames. Eventually, a second cop arrived, and after about 4 minutes, they were finally able to break through the glass and unlock the door, pulling the man out of the vehicle for safety.
There is no doubt in my mind that the officers involved in this incident, the civilian bystander, they saved a life.
The driver was taken to a local hospital to be treated.
Was the driver just lights out there behind the wheel when they pulled him free?
It was tough to tell.
He couldn't get himself out of there.
Yeah, it sounded like he was making noise in there, so freaking out, I'd imagine.
You guys ever try to break a window on a car?
No.
No.
It's difficult.
I've heard you have to do it just right.
Holy buckets.
Yeah.
Like you have those. Have you ever seen those, like the window breakers for emergency?
Oh yeah, those are sweet. Have you ever seen those like in action?
No, yes, just online. I bought one from my wife because we lived for a while right off this windy road, and there was a little lake there. That's like her biggest fear, right? Is going underwater in a car.
Yep.
So I got her one just to try and calm that fear.
When we were kids, we tried to bust a window out in a car, and I could not believe how difficult the process was. In the movies, it looked so easy.
I've done it by accident before, and it's very scary.
Your headrest is made to pull out of your chair and break windows.
I always heard that. I wasn't sure if that was true.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A Tennessee firefighter is facing criminal charges for his response to a house fire where he wasn't wanted. Jacob Wellbaum with the Nashville Fire Department was off duty when he spotted the blaze December 18th. Rutherford County Fire and Rescue had already responded and were working the fire. But when Wellbaum approached, he was told by officials to step aside, but he didn't want to. Police say he illegally took protective gear and breathing equipment from a truck and then entered the home despite being directed to stay away. He even began shouting orders at the crew.
And what was his connection to the fire department?
Well, he's a firefighter, but in a neighboring town.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Christina Williams, well, I shouldn't say neighboring. I don't know how far apart they are. Rutherford County and Nashville. Maybe I should look that up. Christina Williams and her husband, the homeowners, say they saw a man out of uniform yelling at other firefighters. A plainclothes man yelling quite aggressively at firemen, "What are you doing? You should have done it this way," he said, according to Christina.
Oh, no. He's just one of these expert guys.
Wellbaum apparently refused to leave, and he had to be physically removed from the scene. The 31-year-old was arrested and charged with 5 counts of reckless endangerment, 1 count of disorderly conduct. The Nashville Fire Department said he's been placed on administrative duty and is not responding to emergencies or working with the public. How strange.
That's so weird.
I bet he's just completely confused by this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure he's that arrogant.
Yeah. He's
Why wouldn't they want me?
completely thrown that, they wouldn't be thanking him for. What a lunatic.
How about some wanted help? There's a local group of firefighters that started something really cool. It's called Handyman Firefighters. I was reading about this morning. They provide home repairs, maintenance, installation, and assembly services, a bunch of hot firefighters. A retired Robbinsdale and Golden Valley firefighter started Handyman Firefighters to give local firefighters a way to supplement their income and use their skills for the community in a different way. And I realized I said firefighters a whole lot in that paragraph. I should have maybe taken one of those out, but very cool.
Don't play cards against those guys.
Yeah, can you, I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of our recently single aunts who are going to be hiring the Handyman Firefighters. A library in Dakota County closed its doors early Tuesday due to a threat made over the phone. We're threatening libraries now? A spokesperson with the county said the Heritage Library in Lakeville received a call from an individual threatening violence in the afternoon hours. Library staff immediately reported the call to law enforcement, and the building was promptly evacuated of visitors and staff. Officers with the Lakeville Police Department searched and cleared the building. A spokesperson said other libraries in the state have received similar threats in recent days. Northfield Public Library received a threatening phone call Friday evening, as did East Central Regional Library, that the system there that includes libraries in Cambridge, North Branch, and Chisago. Fergus Falls Public Library closed early on Friday due to received threats there. The threat made in Lakeville remains under investigation.
Who's this dullard?
I don't know.
What in the world?
Yeah, what the heck? All right, all 5 people at the library, 4 of you on the internet, we better go.
You're out of other derelict activities?
I guess.
You're going to start threatening the damn neighborhood library.
A 25-year-old Canadian man only had his license for about 20 minutes before it was suspended. According to police, the man had just taken and passed his license test one morning in late December, and he was very excited about it. And he chose to honor the occasion by cracking a beer and driving away. A police spokesperson said in celebration, the driver cracked a beer and decided to drive back to his house off of Highway 10. As the driver headed south, he flew past an unmarked police vehicle, a spokesperson said, with an alleged registered speed of some 30-some miles per hour over the speed limit. Police also alleged the driver was weaving in and around other vehicles in a careless manner. I can't even begin to understand why someone would think drinking a beer in their vehicle while driving is a smart idea, let alone a novice driver who should be well-versed on the rules of the road, police said. The man's license was suspended for 30 days, and he now faces several charges.
This was a Canadian guy drinking beer behind the wheel?
Yeah. A 25-year-old dude, he finally got his license, and that's how he chose to celebrate.
Was probably a Bat's Blue.
No, he's Canadian. It was Foster's Lager or something like that. Were you not listening to the story? The guy's Canadian.
The oil can.
I love that he brought beer for the occasion.
Well, yeah.
Like stashed it under his front seat or whatever.
He had a little tiny lunchbox cooler.
Yeah.
You know, some people like to celebrate a milestone with an alcoholic beverage. Usually not immediately following getting your driver's license on the way home in the car. It's funny, like reading some of the comments from the cops, just baffled, like, I just don't get it. How are you that dumb?
I don't know.
Staying with Canada, an Air Canada passenger reportedly boarded a plane at Toronto Pearson International only to jump out of a cabin door before it even took off. The passenger, they said, boarded the aircraft normally and seemed fine, but then opened the cabin door instead of taking his seat aboard the Boeing 747 on its way to Dubai Monday night. He fell some 20 feet to the tarmac and did sustain some injuries.
Oh, I bet he did.
Everybody, they had to wait around 6 hours, all the other passengers, before they could take off. I bet they're excited.
Road rashing himself along the runway there.
The passenger's jump Monday night marked the second time in less than a week a flyer's unusual behavior delayed an Air Canada flight. Last Wednesday, a flight was diverted after a 16-year-old boy assaulted a family member on board.
Janelle, you fly a lot. What's the squirreliest passenger situation you've ever witnessed?
I don't know if I've seen anything where I've ever, somebody's gotten kicked off. But I will tell you, there are many professions I feel sorry for, and flight attendants might be at the top of that list.
God help us all.
Oh my God, people are mean to them.
They have been treated poorly the last few years.
Awful.
Maybe before that, but certainly making news, and they said the increase is like hundreds of percent.
We're just surrounded by entitled jackasses.
Oh God, people are mean.
So you weren't on that plane where that lady said, "I gotta pee." I love that audio from a few weeks back. She just pulled it right out and took a leak in the aisle, didn't she?
Yeah, and then there have been other incidents of number 2 on planes also.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Folks will make a number 2.
I will. I'm going to skip to a story right here.
Oh, Josh is prepared.
About another massive pooping incident.
That's what we call a segue in the business.
She's right.
Serendipity, or probably using that wrong again, but yeah. This time a parent claimed a fellow passenger pooped their pants on a Delta flight on Christmas Eve and left excrement smeared all over the seat, as detailed in a viral Reddit post.
And it wasn't an accident?
Well, they think it was an accident.
Well, then we have to have at least someone like me, who battled with stomach issues for many years. I have a little bit of sympathy here.
And a lot of people did in the Reddit thread.
Oh, no.
According to the thread, the odoriferous incident occurred while the Redditor and their 8-year-old daughter was on a connecting flight from Birmingham, Alabama to Atlanta, Georgia, en route to Florida. Shortly after takeoff, they noticed a horrific odor wafting through the cabin, leading the man to believe his kid may have had an accident. Turns out it wasn't his kid. And it wasn't until they landed they discovered the appalling source of the stench. While deplaning, they reportedly saw a person 8 rows in front of them who had pooped all over the seat, the bottom and the back of it completely covered in human feces.
That's terrible.
They also said the excrement was halfway up the passenger's back as well, like a blowout.
Oh.
And because the plane had taxied on the runway for 45 minutes, they said the Delta defecators sat in their own filth the entire time.
Gross.
Another person claimed they were also on the flight, and they'd have been in the same row as the human feces fondue fountain. They added, upon deplaning...
Stop doing that.
Why?
Oh,
just trying to add, I want to add a little something to it.
That one was rough.
I appreciated it, Josh.
Yeah, in case you couldn't picture what smeared poop would look like.
Right.
Trust me, there's more. They added, upon deplaning, we saw poop on the seat spread out like peanut butter. Yuck, they wrote.
Oh, no.
As many Redditors pointed out, it's not the first time someone had gastrointestinal mishaps aboard a Delta flight. In September, a plane from Atlanta, Georgia to Barcelona, Spain was forced to turn around after a passenger suffered a bout of explosive diarrhea, which left a poop trail down the aisle leading to the plane's restroom.
Terrible.
Someone quipped on social media there, whoever smelt a Delta.
You son of a bitch.
A man on a plane to Orlando was arrested after agents say he was disruptive on the flight, grabbing one of the flight attendants and asking her and another attendant if they wanted to join the Mile High Club.
That is a wildly original joke, dude. You win.
James Finister was on Spirit Airlines Flight 693 Tuesday. The complaint said that he asked the lead flight attendant if she wanted to join the Mile High Club with him. He then reportedly grabbed a second female flight attendant, pulled her into his seat, and asked her the same question. In addition, he asked multiple questions about the plane's cockpit, including questions relating to entering it, flight attendants said. When the plane landed, police spoke to Finister, who admits that he did do those things. He told police he had taken several shots of alcohol before the flight to calm his nerves because he'd never flown before. He's facing federal charges.
I'll tell you what, congratulations, dude. You touched on the oldest joke in aviation history. The Mile High Club.
You guys mind if we go a little late?
I don't care.
Stuff I don't want it to get too
old. You know I never give a rat's ass. Again,
just want to be respectful.
Mention out loud, again, who would we be inconveniencing if we go a little late?
Carol Evans, Randy Shaver.
Don't care.
A woman placed in the backseat of a North Carolina police cruiser after being detained on an assault charge chewed through the back seat. The bizarre biting incident took place after the woman, who's 32, was arrested for an alleged assault January 2nd. Boone Police Sergeant Dennis O'Neill said about $650 in damage was assessed to the vehicle following the toothy attack. A substantial amount of padding, he said, was eaten by the woman. The department made light of the situation on social media, joking they might need to purchase added protection for the seats. That moment when you're so angry you were arrested, you decide to chew the seat, the department wrote on Facebook.
Oh, man.
We may need to invest in Kevlar seat covers, they said.
And she was swallowing it.
Yeah, I guess.
All the foam and all
I don't know how much of it she got down and, how much she didn't, but
I'll be damned.
It was pretty amazing how much she chewed through.
A woman in North Carolina is arrested and then allegedly chewed through the back seat of the police car. The cop driving was like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and add meth to the list of charges.
It's an unfortunate situation. I'm sure she regrets putting herself in the position of eating the back of a police car now that everything is calm, O'Neill said. They haven't determined whether the woman will face additional charges tied to that incident.
Any chance she's part goat?
Yeah, I didn't see a picture of her. Maybe. At least 3 people were hospitalized after mistakenly eating colorful pods of liquid laundry detergent distributed as a campaign freebie in Taiwan. This was part of a presidential race. One of the victims said she thought the pods were candy. And for a while here in America, for some young people on social media, they were. The pods came in partially clear packaging with photos of a candidate and his running mate. The campaign office, who gave about 460,000 pods out, apologized for the incident. Those hospitalized included an 80-year-old man and an 86-year-old woman who were released after having their stomachs pumped.
Oh!
Back in 2018, the media sounded the alarm on the Tide Pod Challenge, which took social media by storm. Hordes of teens posted videos of themselves chewing and gagging on the pods manufactured by Tide. A variety of other similar brands were also used by the teens who took part in the challenge before daring others to do so as well.
Wasn't that a real, how should I say this, historic moment for America when all of our teenage kids were deep-throating laundry detergent on the internet?
That was weird.
I remember thinking, no, that's not. Nobody ever really did that. And then realizing, oh my goodness, people, and a lot of people seem to be doing that.
Remember when we were kids, when all you had to do as a teenage kid to be accepted is maybe get laid and have a keg party?
Those were the days. Upset his sandwich hadn't been sliced in half, a Subway customer allegedly threw the offending sub at a store clerk, striking her in the vagina. Cops say 54-year-old Alberto de Barros was arrested following the unnecessary confrontation Monday night at a Subway restaurant near his residence in Stuart, Florida. Subway worker Cassandra Lewis told deputies de Barros became upset with her after finding out his sandwich was not cut. Following a brief verbal exchange, Lewis said de Barros began causing a disruptive scene. After the Subway worker announced she would no longer be serving him due to his behavior, the sandwich was thrown. During questioning, he acknowledged being upset over the sandwich not being cut in half, adding he believed he threw the sandwich at the counter instead of Lewis. Store surveillance footage, however, showed otherwise.
And he hit her in the
right in the privates.
I'll be.
Yeah. The series premiere of Seth. Have you ever shown a girl your foot long, Nick? Subway worker?
Many
times. The series premiere of Seth MacFarlane's TED TV series streams today on Peacock.
Oh, yeah, the talking duck or whatever it is?
That's a teddy bear.
I've been looking forward to this.
I didn't see the second movie, but I liked the first movie a lot more than I thought I would.
The second one was all right.
I thought it was awful from all of them.
In this prequel series to the Ted films, it's 1993, and Ted the Bear's moment of fame has passed. He's now living back at home in Massachusetts with his best friend, 16-year-old John Bennett. Jimmy Fallon's guest is Matthew McConaughey tonight, and Tina Fey makes an appearance on Seth Meyers.
Love her.
HBO's Togetherness and the whole 9 yard star Amanda Peet, who recently starred with Hank Azaria on Brockmire, is 52 today. A couple of shout-outs in the brother and sisterhood. Happy birthday to PTSD Jesus. And Electrical Jesus said, can I get a shout-out today? It's my Friday, and after work today, I'm headed to Lake of the Woods to catch some fishies. Yes, best of luck to you, and that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
You're a creep. What are you doing? What happened to you?
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All I think about is, what am I going to do if I retire?
That'll do it. Crimson Tide wins the national championship.
Alabama, they win the BCS championship.
behind Coach Nick Saban and quarterback A.J. McCarron.
Saban with his third national championship at Alabama in 4 years. They dominated Notre Dame 42-14.
Alabama back on top of the college football world. 45-40, Alabama wins. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins! The Crimson Tide will not be denied. Alabama breaks Georgia Hearts national championship.
All right, then. Hey, Randy Shaver, what's going on, man?
Good morning.
Morning.
We got one.
What a day in football yesterday.
What happened? Well, there's a lot of
and today.
And it continues this morning. Yes.
There's a lot of coaching things happening. You seem quite excited and wanting to get right into it, so why don't you just let her buck? But first, welcome Ashley back to the show.
Oh,
hey, Randy.
Nice to have you back.
Nice to be back.
She's terribly sick. She was terribly sick. She's back. Janelle's here again today, Randy.
What? Did she stay overnight?
What are you still doing here? When we walked in this morning, yes, you looked rough.
So you stayed overnight, so no walk of shame. You just stayed overnight.
So Janelle passed out next to a full ashtray. That's what I walked into this morning.
Per usual.
Wow.
Yeah, Janelle is here again, and Ashley's back. But go ahead. You seem quite fired up about all the coaching changes in college and pro football and everything.
I just don't remember a day or a 24-hour period, I guess, where legends in the sport have decided to either on their own or pushed out, have left their positions. Pete Carroll, 72 years old, basically let go by Seattle, although he's reportedly staying on in an advisory role, but I don't really believe that.
Oh, you don't?
I don't. I think that Pete Carroll will be hired somewhere else, even though he's 72.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, Nick Saban announces his retirement after 17 incredible years at Alabama. There's a stat about Nick Saban this morning. I saw Adam Schefter posted yesterday, which I thought was amazing. Saban had more players drafted in the first round, 44, than it had losses in his 17 years, 29.
Whoa.
Think about that for a second.
Awesome.
44 first-round draft choices in 17 years. They only lost 29 games under Nick Saban during that time period.
He ran a crooked program.
No, I don't think so. He will be regarded as the greatest college football coach, I think, in history.
I even saw some folks yesterday say, just go ahead and call him the greatest coach in the history of all sports. Would you take it that far?
I think Bill Belichick would rival that in some ways, because to win the Super Bowls that he won and all of that is pretty incredible too. And that announcement is coming this morning that Belichick and the Patriots are parting ways.
Yeah, that's going to be official this morning.
It is. It's out there right now that they both have made the decision that they're going to part ways. And already the rumor is that Belichick's going to end up in Atlanta with the Patriots looking for a coach. I think that makes 8 teams in the NFL, 7 or 8 that are looking for new head coaches this morning.
There's a pile of them. It's funny because just a few minutes ago...
And they're very good friends, by the way. Belichick and Saban are about as close friends as you can have.
Like me and Cubby close.
Exactly. They coached together in the past. They've grown up together in this business. I think they're the same age or pretty close. So it's kind of ironic that they both are walking away from incredible programs and, doing it on their terms too.
It is a hell of a day. It's got to be some kind of historic day with all, like you said earlier, with all these coaches moving on or getting thrown out. It's just funny that a handful of minutes ago, Josh brought up the question, who is a famous person, whether it be from mainstream entertainment or from sports, where the sight of them turns your stomach. Well, 2 of those, and there's a lot of them for me, I'll admit that. 2 of them are Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. The sight of them. But
that's too. I can see the Belichick thing just because it gets it got to be so much. I think Nick Saban, for me, I'm the opposite. To me, he is one of the greatest coaches in the history of football. The things that he's done at Alabama in actually a short period of time when he got there, and just the amount of and the way he goes about it, the things I've read about him, the things that he does outside of football in that community. I mean, to me, I think he's the role model for college football, and he's done it. I mean, Alabama's not been in trouble. He's done it, the right way, and I don't know. I think he's a pretty special coach.
One of the only things that really changed my opinion of Nick Saban, I think, was when Janelle Klein said you've interviewed him once or twice and you think he's a really nice guy.
I think the world of him. And I completely agree with Randy. I think, obviously you have your image for the media, and I'm sure he's not going to do or say anything to anyone with a camera around. But, working that national championship game a bunch of times, you interview the players and they will say glowing things about him. Kind of like what Randy's saying. He ran it the right way. I think he cared about character. I don't know. Yep. I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but they all seemed like good guys, and that he was doing things on the up and up. I don't know.
When Randy says he backs him, it doesn't do much for me. But when you say it, Janelle,
well, that's so typical.
When you say it, you know what? I'll come around to him eventually. I will.
There's a quote that Nick Saban has that I look at in not just football terms, but in life terms too, that I think at least means something to me. In that the quote is, mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. And basically what that means is, if you want to play at Alabama, then you all have to think the same way. And we're going to think like high achievers. We're not going to think mediocre. And I think successful businesses, successful programs, you're only going to be that way if everybody thinks the same way and, works towards the same goals together. And that means that everybody's got to be at the same level, right? Mm-hmm. And
fair enough.
I think that, and Saban has a lot of those. It's not, PJ Fleck does too. Doesn't hold as much water for me as what Nick Saban says, but coaches like that, they have certain things that they live by, that they work, that they put out there that are important to them. And I think Saban not only puts those things out there, but he lives by it too.
Gotcha.
So,
Josh, did I leave something on the printer? I do that all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I had a message here from a listener. Janelle, you were saying something?
I was just going to say, Wapple and Ashley and I were just talking about it too with regard to Saban and Belichick. I think it's awesome to see someone at that age like your job that much and go after it with that kind of intensity. In your 70s, can you imagine the hours he puts in and the dedication? That's unreal.
He's getting handed millions and millions. And can we stop this parade now? Is the victory parade over yet for Nick Saban?
But But the thing about what Saban has also been saying, though, is that the college football itself has changed so dramatically because of the transfer portal. I mean, the extra work now that you have to do, the attention to detail for the kids that you have to put in is, I think, taking some of the joy away from a lot of these coaches. It's beginning to be way too much.
That's what I was going to ask you, Randy, was do you think he's kind of retiring because of the transfer portal?
I think so. I think if you read between the lines of some of the things that he said in the last 24 hours, I think it's pretty clear that the game is the same. It's putting your roster together and then keeping it together that is putting a lot of stress, not just on the head coach, but everybody in your program, especially at that level. That level is, you're not seeing that at the University of St. Thomas, right? I mean, you're at that level to be in the national picture every year. Think of all the things that you have to do to keep everybody happy, and that can be exhausting.
And he used to go to recruits' houses.
Oh, for the love of Christ.
He used to talk to the kids at their houses. And like that, as soon as the championship game was done, he was already working on recruiting for the next year.
You have to.
All right.
You have to.
Josh, say something over here.
And he was a charitable guy.
Oh, my God.
He loved animals.
He did a wonderful job. He won a lot of championships. I had no idea this was going to get so out of control.
He wasn't necessarily a picky eater, but there was things he didn't like. But if you invited him to your house and you made something he wasn't a fan of, he'd never say anything.
Christ has been pulled off the cross here.
Nick just can't praise someone.
And I'll tell you what,
Jesus, did you listen to yourself there for
try
a few minutes?
sneezing around Saban and have him not say God bless you. He's going to say it. He'll be the first one to say it.
This is the text
did
message.
I say anything out of school? Did I say anything that wasn't?
You did a wonderful
at least
job.
A perception or true. And Janelle will know. She's in those circles. She's been in those circles.
We get it. We get it. We get it. This is the text message I wanted you to hear. If the Vikings play their cards right, their coaching staff next year could be Belichick, Carroll, Saban, and Harbaugh. How much money they got in the bank over there?
That's our whole salary cap. Yes. Coaches.
Wow.
All right. So a lot of coaches are going here and they're going there. Some of them were great, some of them not so great.
It's going to be fun to watch what happens, especially with Belichick. And I think Pete Carroll, honestly, if you listen to that post-game news conference or post-announcement news conference yesterday.
Paper cut, Josh, paper cut.
He was super emotional, but I think if you also read between the lines, he is not going to sit there and be an advisor in Seattle. I think that he really wants to coach somewhere else.
I'm so grateful to the coaches that have been with us for so many years. That put up with my stuff and found a way, to bring it to life daily. And that's it for now. And as my all-time mentor, Bud Grant, said, not in so many words, there's rivers to wade, there's waves to catch, and there's mountains to hike.
That's Pete Carroll right there. Oh, all right. God dang it, I thought
And when Bud made that speech, he came back a year later.
Right. Yeah, he did.
Randy, can we talk about Pete Carroll now and how much we like him?
Please.
Oh, I love Pete Carroll.
My God.
I thought Pete was amazing when he was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh lost a bet with his players, and now he'll be getting a Michigan tattoo.
Oh, funny.
He told his players if they went undefeated, he'd get a tattoo.
Do they get to choose where the tattoo is?
No. It sounds like he's going to get it on one of his shoulders. It'll be the big M logo, the Michigan. He doesn't have any tattoos. This will be his first. What was the deal, Josh? Was that last year or 2 years ago where Randy Shaver came pretty close to having...
That's true. I think it was with...
Even more. It was Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph.
So it was even more than 2 years ago.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, my God. I was sweating bullets.
I missed this. What happened?
I thought it was with Depot, so you're saying Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah,
it was Kyle Rudolph.
You were really down on the Vikings. And you
I don't remember the exact thing.
Here's what I can tell you.
I think it came down like to the last week or something.
It did. It was real close.
You were really down on the Vikings, and you said, without Kyle Rudolph on the air, you said something along the lines of, if they make the playoffs, you'll get a Viking logo tattooed on your ass.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't think you didn't expect this, but then a week later we had Kyle on, and Randy was on his best behavior saying all kinds of positive things.
No, that's not true.
No, yes, you. And Josh threw you under the bus and said, dude, we got to tell Kyle what's going on.
Kyle jumped on that like right away.
Yes, he
and
did.
That was a topic of discussion up until the very end, too.
And you got real lucky because they came close to making the play. And you would have done that for Kyle. You wouldn't do that for us.
Oh, my gosh. I do remember that.
Hey, a player...
Nick Saban's the type of guy where if he made a promise,
Pete Carroll,
he'd keep it.
I mean, that was just relentless there for a while. A player for the Kansas City Chiefs not named Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes is actually being recognized by the media. Chiefs, I don't know what this guy does for a living, but his name is Charles Omenihu. Anybody?
I don't know.
Nope.
Yeah, he's the guy that was upset about the Peacock deal.
I should have looked this up, what he does for a living. Exactly, for the Kansas
About
City.
the
He's a
game being
defensive
shown on
end.
Peacock on Saturday night.
He's what?
I think he's a defensive end.
He's giving away Peacock subscriptions ahead of this wild card game between the Chiefs and Miami. We talked a few minutes ago that there's a lot of football fans who are pissed that this game is on Peacock.
By the way, have you seen the weather for this game?
Yes.
No.
-8.
Whoa.
is
And they
what
already
they're
got dumped on,
predicting.
too. Like a bunch of snow.
This is going to be this possibly could be the third coldest NFL game ever in the history of the league.
We get one of these every year.
In Kansas City. And Miami has never won a game. I thought I saw this last night when it's been under 40 degrees or something crazy like that.
It could fall into what place, Randy, you said?
The third coldest NFL game, I believe, ever.
So that means it could possibly
It's
be
right
colder.
near the Vikings game when they played the Bears.
Right now, the third coldest, not the Bears, you mean the Sea Ducks.
The Sea Ducks, I'm sorry, you're right.
Right now, the third coldest game was that U.S. Bank Stadium game between the Vikings and Sea Ducks, 2015,
I think it was
26.
-6.
With
Right?
the kid missing the field goal. Yes, the temperature that day was -6, a wind chill of -25.
Yes.
And then you hear every year there's one of these warnings where, this could be the biggest cold weather, or this, because of course you got the stupid overrated Ice Bowl, you got the AFC Championship game in 81-82 between the Chargers and the Bengals in Cincinnati.
That was -9, I believe.
I still remember, well, we all remember the stories from that U.S. Bank Stadium game between the Vikings and
I was there.
Terrible.
How long did you stick around?
I'm sorry?
Did you stick around for the whole game?
Oh, yeah.
Standing outside?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was not out. I mean, I was outside pregame.
Yeah.
It was,
Did you watch it from a suite or something like that?
Well, we were in the press box.
Oh, yeah. So it was warm in there.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I mean, it was
kind of made it sound like you were standing on the sideline.
It was so brutally cold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I couldn't imagine actually standing outside watching the game, let alone play the game.
Crowd stuck it out
that day. Yeah, it was amazing.
Buddies of mine went to the game and said they order a beer, pop the top, watch a series of downs, look down, the beer's frozen solid.
Oh, that sounds awful.
That was the game that Bud walked out there in the short sleeves.
Oh, my God,
right?
that's
Remember
right.
that? Yeah.
God bless Bud.
Didn't look like it bothered him at all.
I tell you what, when I did an obit on Bud, Mike Grant, I had done an interview with Mike Grant, and Mike told me about the day he drove Bud down there that day, and that Bud told him in the car he was going to do that, and Mike looked at him and said, "Dad, the people will go crazy." And Bud just kind of had that grin like, yeah, I know. It's going to be great.
So great.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was.
What was the coldest? Did you say that?
The stupid overrated Ice Bowl.
the Ice
17
Bowl.
below.
Okay.
Back in the 60s when guys didn't even really know how to play football yet.
I don't even know if they calculated the wind chill for that game. I think it was -17 is the number. But.
It's wildly overrated. My favorite was again with the Lambeau Field, but the Packers NFC title game against the Giants, 2007-8 season.
Yeah.
This was the night that Josh got married.
Yes.
And we all went and watched the end of this game at the Boom Boom Room after Josh's wedding reception ended.
There were people that didn't show up to our wedding. Well, they claimed it was because of the weather, but it was such a cold day.
It was brutal.
Like my grandma, it was too cold for my grandma. She couldn't.
And it was so beautiful watching that Giants kicker kick that game-winning field goal and send all those dickheads home. But everyone should remember the best part about that football game is that cold turned the Giants head coach Tom Coughlin's face into a giant herpy.
Yeah, he looked so cold.
Was it in Green Bay?
Yes.
Oh,
It was he looked like it was like frostbite.
Oh, it was
on
horrible.
His face. It was horrible.
And he just had his little baseball cap on. Yeah. And it just like Bud Grant, it didn't seem to bother him. He never stopped. He was jaw-jacking and coaching, where guys might see a minute or two where they just, they can't help it. They go, ooh. He was just letting her buck. Yeah. And the best part about the stories connected to that game is at halftime, the Giants players were saying, Coach, will you please put on a stocking cap?
Yeah.
We're worried about you. You look like garbage.
Right.
But he went for it.
I remember working a game at Green Bay, and they were bringing in, people who were not prepared for the weather, and they were trying to find like those portable like fish houses or warming houses to put up on the sidelines. Yeah.
Do you remember when the TCF Bank game, the stadium game, they talked about how hard the field was?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yes.
People thought they were going to shatter when they got tackled.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was crazy.
I can remember walking on that field pregame, or at least on the sideline area, and it felt like cement.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no give to that field.
I'm sorry, I missed a message here. Yeah, it was a brutal day, a brutal game. I missed this when we were talking about NFL head coaches coming and going. Maybe this is the liquor talking, but I thought this was really funny. A headline from SB Nation talking about a coach who's sticking around with his ball club. Some folks thought maybe he'd be gone, but the Bears are sticking with this Matt Eberflus guy.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is the headline from SB Nation. The Bears are keeping Matt Eberflus because they enjoy poop sandwiches.
Oh, boy.
All right, fine. I gave it a shot. I thought it was funny. I thought it was good.
I liked it.
Thank you, Cubby.
By the way, I'm also the only person that cared about that paper cut. Did you notice that? Nobody else.
Hey, I cared.
No,
I said, oh no.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, dude, those are the worst.
Thank you, Ashley.
They are pretty bad. I've got a cardboard one. That was pretty painful.
Oh, those are way worse.
So, if this game is as cold as they say it's going to be.
In Kansas City?
Yeah.
Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel, he's not going to be able to wear those high-rise chinos he likes to wear.
That was a big discussion as to what exactly he might be wearing.
He's going to have to wear some long socks.
Yeah, he's not used to wearing
high-rise chinos.
Yes.
And the fluid might just freeze up in his vape pen.
Yeah.
He's not going to enjoy
he's
that
one
game.
slick dude, isn't he?
I could see him wearing like Uggs or something like that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
100%.
Yeah, he's a stylish guy.
This can't be true. There's a listener texting in saying, the Miami, okay. He's talking about the Miami Dolphins fans. I thought he meant the organization. But he tells me via text here, Miami Dolphins fans are saying that this playoff game should be moved to Indianapolis because of the weather. Come on. That'll never happen. And I don't think they're very serious about that, but wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
We're probably headed in that direction, aren't we? NFL football's become so SAWFT
soft
that I bet you before I die, well, maybe someone who has some longevity in him, before Josh dies, I bet you that it'll come to the point where fans and coaches and coddled players will get to, go ahead and say, look, this weather isn't good for our careers and our bottom line, the money. You see what I'm saying? Where eventually there will be no cold weather football games. They'll all be played in this soft climate control. I bet you it'll happen before Cubby dies.
I bet you're right. My brother's boyfriend was actually just talking about this last weekend. They have season tickets to the Vikings games, and he said that Minnesotans are soft now with the stupid indoor, because the indoor stadium is so nice and everybody's so soft. He says that every year they ask, like on the survey, what's one thing you want to change for next year? And every time he writes, keep the doors open. I want the front doors open the whole time. Even when it's 20 degrees out, I want them open.
They never should have put a lid on any friggin' football stadium. They never should have started that gimmick. But I'm telling you, all it's going to take is like the next, and I know there probably never will be another Tom Brady, but just follow my theory here. The next big star quarterback, just untouchable sumbitch like Tom Brady, he'll get hurt in a cold weather game, and the tickets won't sell as well, or some kind of money will get involved, and they'll say, okay, that's fine, we're putting a lid on every stadium so we can keep our players as safe as possible 24 hours a day. Mark my words right here. What's the date today? February something?
Nope.
I don't know what it is.
January 11th.
I have a shorter lifespan than all of you. I don't think that'll ever happen.
You'll outlast all of us, except Janelle.
I could see them all putting domes on the stadium, roofs on all the stadiums, so they don't have weather delays and all that stuff.
They don't give a rat's ass about weather delays. They care about money and star players, Wapple. And that's what will change. That's what will affect that kind of a thing.
Barsaw Jesus is disappointed we won't be able to see Tua's slick arm sleeves. He's got those cool tattoos.
No.
All right, does anyone have a puke bucket? I'm going to try to do my best to get through this.
Got a garbage can. Yeah.
That'll work. I'm going to try to do my best to get through this without getting violently sick. And I bet you Randy Shaver's he's going to reel on this one. There's a Travis Kelce lookalike that will come to your Super Bowl watch party if you give the guy $1,500 in trade. In my opinion, if someone actually goes through with this and hands some clown over $1,000 just for looking like Travis Kelce, there's no turning back. You're a terrible human being.
I'm so tired of Travis Kelce.
Yeah. I think the world is.
You know what? That game being on Peacock is absolutely perfect.
I think it is too.
And I have Peacock, but I may not watch.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw a couple articles that were directed towards Taylor Swift fans, and it was saying, hey, Swifties, here's how you sign up for Peacock.
I'm sure Peacock would like to put that out there, yeah.
A Travis Kelce lookalike will come to your Super Bowl party for $1,500. Oh, it says here he'll take pictures with partygoers. Oh, really? Will he?
No way.
He'll dance with you and he'll make the party unforgettable.
He'll dance with
you.
You
know who can make a party unforgivable? That Nick Saban. Life of the party.
Will he look like Mike Tice did for your relatives?
No, don't make me tell that story again. That's such a long story.
Oh, man.
Got a text that wants to know if he brings along a Taylor Swift lookalike, they might be interested.
See, there you go.
All right, back to college football real quick. And then I still got to lose my temper over the Timberwolves. We got a ways to go here.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of this, but I'm all for it. This would make for some fun times at your neighborhood bar, some fun bets amongst buddies. There is a push to create a football game called the Irrelevant Bowl, and it would be played at the end of the season between the two worst teams in college football. Doesn't that sound like an absolute riot?
I think it's funny. Yeah. I like the name, too.
Can you imagine the parties at your neighborhood bar for the Irrelevant Bowl? Who cares?
I'm not so sure that college teams would say yes to that, only because that's not going to help them get any sort of recruiting momentum when you're in the Irrelevant Bowl.
Yes, but it likely will never happen. But what about money, Randy Shaver? Money is the ultimate effort.
Well, there's so much college bowl stuff now. It's just the saturation is beyond comprehension at this point. I don't know.
There's some promoter in California by the name of Roy Engelbrecht. He's the brains behind this. And he is saying, apparently, according to the story, that the two clubs, the two schools playing in the Irrelevant Bowl will get a lot of money. They'll get six-figure payouts. They'll pay for their travel, their lodging, their team meals. The cost will be subsidized. They make a bunch of money.
It all sounds good, but if I'm the football coaching staff of one of those teams, I'm not so sure that's a way to recruit players. Hey, by the way, we're in the worst bowl game you could possibly be in.
I get that.
I just don't think that works to your favor.
If it had happened this year, just for the record, it would have featured Vanderbilt versus Akron, Ohio. I love the sound of the Irrelevant Bowl.
It sounds fun. We should call our studio that, don't you think? Or maybe the Irreverent Bowl. That'd be no compliment.
I'll be damned. All right, last night's Wolves game in Boston was one hell of a basketball game.
Yep.
It really was, especially considering it was the regular season. And you guys know I love my Timberwolves, but I was rageful by the time it was over because they let a huge win slip away. Well, I'm trying to be positive, Randy. Like I said, it was a great game to watch.
And I think there are a lot of positives to take from the game, okay? And I agree with you, number one, it was a hell of a game. They played without Gobert, and they played without Conley. They took the best team in the league, record-wise, into overtime. They should have won that game. They had the game. They were up by 9 with 3 minutes left. But there's a difference between these two teams right now. the Boston Celtics know how to close out games. They know how to win games like this. They've done it many times. They've got players that, don't make the foolish mistakes that the Wolves did down the stretch. I'm sorry, I love Anthony Edwards, but he's trying to do too much by himself. And that cost them the basketball game last night.
Exactly.
And once he learns to get everybody else involved, there are times when he needs to step up and be Anthony Edwards, no doubt about it. But last night he tried to do way too much, and it cost him.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: they played Boston toe to toe, played them hard, had them beat. Did a lot of great things last night. This team is for real. Okay? The team is for real.
Yeah.
They just have to learn how to be like Boston. I think that's the best way to put it. They just have to learn to play down the stretch in games. If they want to go somewhere in the playoffs, they've got to learn how to handle these games at the end. And when they do that, look out.
Yeah. I couldn't, I don't think I can even add much to that. Finally, we're on the same page on something today, Randy Shaver, because the offense slows down when they're trying to hold the lead. And I hate that. Instead, like you said, instead of running plays, the game plan is letting Edwards dribble out the shot clock, and then he tries to improvise. He tries to do too much. And he had a couple of awful turnovers late in the game. But there were some great moments I should try to focus on. Ant was terrific at times. Carl, Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was absolutely clutch. It's just a damn shame. I wanted those pricks in Boston to eat a big fat one last night, and they were so close to it.
Yeah. I mean, the weather hurt them in the fact that they couldn't travel for this game until yesterday. So they traveled and played on the same day, which obviously is not ideal. It's the reason why Gobert and Connolly ended up sitting last night.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but having said all that, they played Boston, right down to the end. Tatum was unconscious. He was so good late in the fourth quarter into the overtime. That's a superstar player. I mean, I love Edwards. He's not to that level yet. Towns is not at that level. Tatum is at a level that very few players are at. He's just so good, especially when the game is on the line. And then Derek White's rebound on that missed free throw was a killer last night. And that, again, that's a breakdown by the Timberwolves in not figuring out who they needed to block out on that. If they get that rebound, Nick, they win that game.
Yeah.
I believe it. They win that game.
I'm with you.
It's a shame, but again, this team is for real. They're doing a lot of really good things, and it's a learning lesson for them last night.
The Wolves haven't won in Boston since KG.
Yeah.
2000+5. Last time they won in Boston.
Almost 20 years.
They host the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow night. The Portland Trailblazers. All right, further.
Who if you haven't watched him play,
I haven't watched them play.
Scoot Henderson is back healthy. This is the kid they drafted. I think he was second overall in the draft.
That sounds like a name I would make up when I can't come up with the real name.
Yes. He's playing really well right now. And he was injured early in the year. He was not playing very much. This is a team in transition, obviously without Damian Lillard anymore. They're trying to figure out who they are. But he's going to be a fun player to watch in this league. So that's just a name to keep in mind.
Fair enough. Hey, Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra's new contract is the richest in American sports history, of course, until the next one.
For coaches, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Biggest contract any head coach has ever signed in American professional sports. Give it a week, but, okay.
I think, he's earned every dollar, because think about what Miami has done. And there's been times, obviously, where they've had LeBron and they had the big three and all that. But
right.
Their team is not made up of first-round draft choices. They're the best team in the league to find these hidden guys that make up their roster where you kind of go, who's that guy?
Is not Phil Jackson. Is Pat Riley still behind a lot of those decisions?
Yes. But I mean, this Jaquez guy who's playing forward for them or guard.
I remember him.
I mean, yeah. Who's that guy? This Jokic that played 33 minutes for him. Highsmith. I mean, these aren't like, big draft choice guys. These are guys that they have cultivated and fit their system, and they've done a great job to mold this team. And they're doing this without Jimmy Butler, who's like nowhere to be found, right? So,
yeah, Spoelstra's won 2 NBA championships, 2 NBA championships, made 4 other appearances in the NBA Finals. Well, yeah, but most of that was back when LeBron James was the head coach.
Yes.
LeBron was the head coach there. Let's not kid ourselves. When LeBron was playing in Miami, Eric Spoelstra was not the head coach. LeBron was.
But Miami is still a team and again, they're doing a lot of it this year without Butler.
Jimmy Bottles.
They're a team to keep an eye out for.
Ever tell you the story?
They play the game hard.
A friend of mine really pissed off Eric Spoelstra a few years ago when LeBron was still on the team. The Heat came here to play at Target Center, and thanks to Brad Ryder or that other guy that worked there before Brad Ryder, we got some killer seats right behind the Miami Heat bench. And this buddy of mine, he's excellent with the heckling. And I knew he was going to pull something. So we were playing off the joke that, Spoelstra wasn't the real head coach of the Heat. LeBron James is and which I still to this day believe is true, as I already stated. So as coaches would do, Spoelstra's, pacing back and forth on the sideline in front of the Heat bench. And my buddy kept hollering at the ref, "Hey, ref, can you get this guy to sit down? I don't know who this guy is, but he's walking back. Can you get him to sit down?" That was the joke. He kept pouring it on and on and on until Spoelstra finally looked back like, "I'll choke you to death, you son of a bitch." That was a lot of fun. Boy, did the Pigs get their doors blown off in Texas.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars swept the little cute home-and-home bit that they had going. Last night's final was 7-2. Oh.
They unfortunately have lost all this momentum that they gained when they first hired Hines. And you can blame injuries for a lot of this, too. I mean, their roster has been decimated by injuries, and you kind of have to feel bad for them a little bit because they got off to such a terrible start. They make a coaching change. It lights a fire. They win, 8 in a row, 7, some crazy number. They're playing great hockey. And now because of all these injuries, they have lost all the momentum that they've gained. And it's too bad because they're a better hockey team than this, but it's not showing itself because of all the changes they've had to make.
I'll tell you what, it was a harsh NHL debut for Pigs goalie Jesper Wallstedt. He's one of those big damn Swedes, don't you know? But like you said, with all the injury troubles, the Pigs just can't hang. They're 1-6-0 in their last 7 games.
Not against a team like Dallas.
No. Wallstedt was brought up from the Iowegian club to give Fleury a break. Fleury had started 5 straight games since old Phillip was injured right around New Year's Eve. And here's the thing. If you're still hanging on to the idea that there's a rivalry between these two clubs, you got to let that go.
Yeah,
Dallas is 7-0-3 in their last 10 games again. The last 3 games these two clubs have played, the Stars have outscored them 19-5.
Yeah.
And I'm not even mentioning what happened in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I just don't think there is with these two teams. Yeah, I agree.
The boys have a home game scheduled against the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow night. And one more quick little story that's going to make Janelle's favorite little Muppet friend over there have to adjust his fly.
Oh, God.
WWE star Cody Rhodes has accepted a fan's request to be best man at his wedding.
Dude, that'd be
No
so
way.
awesome.
This
It's like your dream come true.
You got to get rid of that stupid neck tattoo first, but, you know.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was a fake tattoo and he was promoting the Transformers or something. It looks like a Transformer. Anyway, this was at a live show Saturday night in Spokane, Washington. I don't know if it was a house show or a televised show. Cody Rhodes is in the ring, and there's a fan with a sign that says, "Cody, will you be my best man?" Cody Rhodes is on the mic, and he asks the crowd. He says, "Well, what do you think, crowd? Should I be this guy's best man?" They bust out the Brian Danielson yes chant, and he's going to go through with it.
That's sweet.
Did that kid look old enough to get married to you?
No, he did not.
I was wondering if Cody thought, oh, he means like 20 years in the future. I can say I'll do this now. Yeah, he's a young-looking guy.
So
it's next weekend.
So Cody says, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to end up at that guy's wedding. Now, this wasn't the only
That is so Nick Saban of him. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I was just thinking
so
that.
much so.
Wow.
Jesus, really, honestly, what time is it? About a half hour ago, Nick Saban had an orgasm and he doesn't know why. It's unbelievable around here. This isn't the only really cool move that Cody Rhodes has made lately. I don't know if you saw this video, Josh, but I would certainly guarantee you that it would fall under the category of stories that make Cubby tear up. Did you see this video of what he did for these school kids in New York City?
Yeah, I think they linked to it in that People.com article.
Cody Rhodes caught wind of a New York City middle school wrestling team where they were selling popcorn to try to earn enough money to go to this year's WrestleMania, which probably is a long friggin' shot when you're selling popcorn to send a group of kids from New York City to where the hell is
That's a lot of popcorn.
Philadelphia to see, right? Cody Rhodes hears about it, and he tweeted this group of junior high wrestlers, and he said, I could buy a bunch of popcorn, or I could just tell you, I've got your tickets and hotels, you're going to WrestleMania. And the teacher, or the coach, I should say, of this wrestling club knew about this ahead of time and pointed a camera at the kids when they found this out, and they went sideways. It was a really cool video. Really cool.
I could see him coming out with Cody Rhodes shirts now that just say, the best man on it or something like that.
He is calling himself the best man. Yeah, so maybe you're right.
Yeah, I could see a bunch of promos. I'm the best man.
Ah, man. I thought those were pretty friggin' cool stories.
I will say, if you're someone who can't handle like a shaky camera thing, watching those kids, which is a great video, especially at the beginning, they keep going back and forth, and I can usually handle that stuff, but even my stomach was going a little nuts.
Yeah.
Did you have the same experience?
A little bit. It's like watching the Blair Witch Project on Fast Forward.
Oh, I hate that.
But the kids, what also was funny about that video is the kids keep looking at the camera, and you can tell they're thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're making me uncomfortable. And then when they made the announcement, that was pretty sweet. Oh, wow.
Randy, do you know who else probably helps needy kids?
Nick Saban.
For sure he does.
Yes, he does.
For sure he does.
I'm telling you, the guy rolled out of bed, and he has no idea why a half hour ago.
He's been a best man a time or two.
Oh, yeah. He is a best man.
One more little side story, then we got to get out of here. We were talking about, this is kind of shady. I like it. We were talking about Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the Miami Heat, getting this massive contract extension. UPS loader Jesus says that the Miami Heat waited for Eric's divorce to be finalized.
Divorce, that is true.
I was wondering if that was real. Yeah, I heard that. So that's true, huh? That's funny.
Waited for his divorce to be finalized before announcing the contract.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded.
That is cold-blooded. All right, Randy, that's enough out of you.
That's good legal advice right there.
Yeah. Man. All right, dude, thank you very much. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll have a dad fight for you and Brad.
Janelle, the door is to your right. Just so you know, you don't have to stay there, regardless of what they tell you. You can leave.
And there's no lock on it.
I was going to say, is it locked?
No,
or is
they
it
don't even have a lock on it.
Yeah.
So what
Don't pay attention to them. You can leave.
That's like an initiation into full-time radio. We're spending the
We used to do that many nights.
Spending the night on the soiled mini couch in the friggin' oh, it's terrible.
Oh, that thing is gross. God. And Ashley slept on it recently.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what she's thinking.
It's a really comfy couch, actually.
It's like Charlie Sheen's bathroom floor. It's terrible. You don't want it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Randy.
See ya.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
Afford Anything is not a podcast that tells you what to do. Afford Anything is a podcast that teaches you how to be better at thinking for yourself.
Former NASA astronaut Mike Massimino.
I don't know what the stereotypical astronaut is. They're just regular people who don't give up, don't let failure stop them, and surround themselves with a good team. These are qualities I think that are important for success for anyone.
Make smarter choices and build a better life.
Afford Anything, wherever you listen.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Sony unveiled a new electric car that can be driven with a PlayStation controller. It's fun when kids fight over the controller and accidentally drive grandma to Toronto.
Researchers have developed a soft robotic tentacle complete with suckers that can be operated remotely, and they say could use the arm for investigating the gastrointestinal tract. Because the most comforting words you can hear as you're going under for your colonoscopy are, "Nurse, energize the tentacle."
Boeing CEO David Calhoun reportedly held a staff-wide meeting after the FAA grounded dozens of its 737 MAX 9 planes. He said if you need to talk, his door is always blown open.
Care 11's Janelle Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, then. Bye, Dan. We hope everybody and all of y'all are enjoying your Thursday morning. We're getting there. It's 8:28. Janelle Klein is in studio with us. Ashley's back from her sickness. Dana, still down. Still down. Probably not going to see him till next week, but we're getting there. Where can we go next? Me personally, never saw it, but you guys tell me. You ever spend any time with a television program called The Shark Tank, or just simply Shark
Tank?
Yeah, I absolutely love Shark Tank.
I've watched a couple episodes.
I've definitely seen them all.
Was that a Mark Cuban thing?
Yep. Yeah, and there's been some Minnesotans who have been on there promoting their products.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
How did they end up doing? Do you know?
Oh, one person walked away because they didn't get the value they thought they needed. And I'm not taking a side here.
Sure.
Just that's what happened.
Sure.
And then a couple of people, I think, have accepted offers. There's been a few. I was trying to look up off air a second ago the different products from Minnesota, and I can't find a whole list.
Janelle, Shark Tank?
I haven't seen a lot of it, but to Josh's point, I've heard of different people that have gone on there, and some with success and some without. But, I mean, it sounds like a good premise. I should really actually watch it.
There are some Shark Tank products that actually succeeded, and I mean, went crazy. Made, as they put here in the article, they made bank.
And you kind of hope the people that invented it got a good chunk of that, but I do wonder
I do too.
how bad a deal they really got.
Yeah.
You'd have to explain that to me. First off, let me make sure I have the concept of the program, because I never watched it. You come on in there with a product idea, and there's rich folks like Mark Cuban, and they legitimately will say yes or no to the idea, and then be the financial backing for that product?
Right.
Okay.
They'll help them get it going, and in exchange for a cut of the how much they make.
Right. And what were you saying about how the inventors might get screwed? Just a minute ago, one of you.
Oh, you were looking over there. So you're talking to me.
Anybody?
No. Well, I don't know if they get screwed or not, but I'm just saying So you basically make a deal, right? You say, this is what I have. This is how much money I've been making. This is what I think it can do. And then is it 3 people? It's 3 people, right?
3 or 4.
Usually there's 4 of them.
Oh, they're 4. Okay. They're all, like you said, these uber rich folks. They'll say, well, I'll give you this amount. And somebody else says, well, I'll give you this amount, or I'll take this percentage. So the person will choose who they want to go with.
Okay.
And I've watched it twice, and I think that's how it goes, right, for all of them?
Yeah.
Same type of
Basically,
thing?
yep.
So you do kind of wonder, I mean, like you hear in some of those other reality shows where you go on American Idol, and let's say you go on and become a relatively successful artist, they have all the money and you get very little or something. Yep. Not just picking on that show, but those are things that you hear about.
Sure.
Yeah, I heard John Taffer from Bar Rescue. If your bar gets rescued, afterwards, once they redo it, he gets a certain percentage from that bar's
overall business.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
He's got a stake in it from now on.
Yep.
Because he's the one who brought it back to life.
Listeners are saying the Extreme Sandbox here was on Shark Tank. Hey, that's one thing I still I want to do.
Yep. I've always wanted to do that. It looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
What do you get to play around in back end loaders and things?
Basically, yep.
I want to do the tank one up north. Get to drive a tank.
Oh, yeah.
And
Me too.
guns and stuff.
You know what you say when it's all over with after they let you drive the tank. You realize you know what to say to those folks, right?
Tanks?
Tanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Here are some of the Shark Tank items that went bananas, okay? They went on the program. They found somebody to invest some money. And they've lived happily ever. Has anyone here ever had, and I don't want to hear about waffles again, but has anyone here ever had a product idea that they thought even for just a minute, hey, this could make me a living?
As a matter of fact, no. Never once.
I used to always say that some type of like pocket pillow would be cool. I have no idea how to get it done, but some type of where it's like actually comfy. Like a real pillow.
That's in your pocket and then
but you can put it in your pocket and somehow when you like inflate it, I guess it would be like feathery though and comfy, not just like air.
A pocket pillow.
Have you ever bought like a comforter, or it's not a comforter, a mattress over the internet? One of those like foam mattresses?
Oh yeah.
We bought one for my son. And the box that it came in, I thought, well, how did they put a mattress in here? And then like 3 days later, it's a full mattress after you open it up.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you got to do with your pocket pillow.
That's it.
Although try getting back, you have to have something to shrink it back.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind for me, Josh. I got one of those brand new mattresses that are suck wrapped or whatever they call that concept. It showed up at the door. It was, I don't know, maybe the size of a. This is going to sound really morbid, but like a child's coffin?
Oh, my God.
That's the best you could come
I thought you said it was going to sound morbid.
That's what it looked like when it was at my door. It looked like maybe there was a child's... And then when you opened it up, boom, I had a king-size mat. Okay, I should stop talking. Here are some of these, Shark Tank products that went crazy. This is really cool, number one, because I didn't know. A former Minnesota Viking, Al Bubba Baker. He when he was done with pro football, well, that was a long time ago. He retired from football a long time ago. But he launched a series of signature barbecue sauces called Bubba Q. Bubba Baker and his product, Bubba Q. And it's become a massive seller amongst hardened barbecue connoisseurs. Wapple, you like to cook. Have you ever bought a bucket of Bubba Q's barbecue sauce?
Yeah, I have.
You really have?
Yeah, I didn't know it was his, though.
Yeah.
I just know the Bubba's brand.
Longtime defensive lineman in the NFL, and he had a cup of coffee here towards the end of his career with the Vikings. And please holler at me further if you're familiar or if you've tried any of these products. Love Pop is a greeting card company that designs 3D pop-up cards for every occasion.
Oh, are those news cards you open them up and like confetti and stuff shoots out at you?
I love that.
I don't know. But they made $22 million. They have all the monetary figures of what these Shark Tank products eventually made, and $22 million in sales sounds pretty good to me. Mission Belt, a belt without holes that adjusts with a release lever.
Never even heard of that.
I have a belt.
Fancy.
It does sound fancy. I wear belts, but I use like the cinchy kinds, like on your hockey breezers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, not with the holes and the stabby thing that you.
I have a belt that I've just kept from high school. It's a piece of garbage.
Yeah. I had one for decades where finally, Josh, when I was cinching it, it just snapped off in my hand.
I bet I'm getting there.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Mission forever. Like it used to be like a shinier leather. That's all gone now. It's all like scuffed off. Yeah.
I'm just impressed you can wear anything from high schoul. That's an accomplishment.
Oh, I'm glad
you haven't gained weight that you can still wear a belt.
No, he's just this little tiny figure.
He's so fit.
Yes.
I don't know about that. But I hold on to this. I'm like, well, I don't want to buy another belt.
No, not now.
I might have to spend like $10 or something on
More
that.
than that.
Hell yeah, Janelle. You know, we dudes, we hang on to clothing to the bitter end.
You guys do.
I mean, my parents bought me this when I was in high school.
I love that.
Well, I don't have any. I'm not sentimental, so it has nothing to do with that.
Oh.
But it's just.
It's just been with you through thick and thin.
It works.
Yeah.
$10 on a belt. It's been a while since you bought a belt.
Yeah, right.
Thick and thin. Was that on purpose with the belt?
I wouldn't know the price of
catching that.
Mission belt made $8.2 million. How about this? For those of you who work out, wrist weights. They're called Bala or Bala bangles. They're wrist weights that look kind of fashionable. A more comfortable and fashionable alternative to existing wrist weights. Anyone ever wear those when you keep the arms?
No, never.
I wonder if those are. I've heard things like that sometimes are bad for your joints and what.
Oh, really?
They made $2.5 million on Shark Tank. Lightweight beach towels called Sand Cloud. They made $20 million.
It's kind of weird, you know.
Just a damn beach towel.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't know there was a market for that.
Well, not around here, but I guess go to stupid Florida or California.
Well, there's a market for it, but has anyone ever had trouble finding a beach towel?
No,
when
never.
No, never.
But it's made from Turkish cotton.
Ooh,
and maybe this has something to do with it. It's a save the earth type of a vibe.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's got to be right.
The money goes to helping save marine life.
Well, that's wonderful.
Like the majestic dolphin and the
turtles.
And the turtles.
Oh, wow. I wonder if this is true. A person texted in and said they know someone who was invited on Shark Tank, and she decided not to go because the network gets 4% of your company even if you don't get a deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Can't say if that's true or not.
I don't know if I'd be down for that.
Well, it sounds right. Just for putting you on TV, they're thinking, hey, we're the greatest advertiser you have ever had.
Right.
We should get
that.
Dude, I never thought about that.
So then you really are paying like 24% of the company if you get it for like 20,
right.
you know?
Janelle
But what if you got it for 25? What would you be?
Ooh, that's going to be about quarter of the percent.
Well, wouldn't it be 29? A college football official, Jesus, has 2 of the belts you were talking about without holes. Love them, he says. Love them.
Someone's telling me now that the Ring doorbell cameras were on Shark Tank, but none of the hosts made them an offer, and now it's $1 billion company.
Wow.
I'll have to take your word for it again. I never saw the show.
Well, Ring was purchased by Amazon, was it not? I'm sure somebody knows. I thought that was now an Amazon thing. I'd imagine they made a couple of bucks. I hope Mr. Ring did.
Janelle keeps multiple cell phones on her at all times because she's a very important person and she's on call for this and that and the other thing. So, Janelle, with being a multiple cellular telephone owner, do you know anything about phone soap?
No, I don't.
$150 million they made after going on Shark Tank. It's a combination of a charger and a sterilizer. It uses UV light. I guess this is for you germaphobes. It uses UV light to kill 99.9% of the germs on your phone surfaces while it charges.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that is. I love that.
This one looked really cool in the pictures. The next product from Shark Tank that made crazy money, $15 million. Bottle Breacher. It's a bottle opener fashioned out of a decommissioned .50 caliber bullet.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It did look really cool. Even if you're opening up a bottle of root beer, you look like a badass.
Heck yeah.
You know.
One of my exes had one of those cool little bullet things, except it eventually had to get thrown away because concert venues and sporting events don't like when you bring in things that look like bullets.
Sure.
I suppose. This one's cool. It's got the American flag engraved in it. Yeah, you look like a badass with something like
Keep
this.
that at home when you're going to a concert or a ball game. Yes. And portions of the proceeds go to a nonprofit military organization. Okay, $20 million for some folks that created Bantam Bagels. They're freezer-friendly, cream cheese-filled bagel bites. I never thought that would be $20 million, but what do I know? A home testing lab, Everlywell. They made $2.9 billion.
Whoa. Wow,
it's some kind of home testing kit that'll tell you if you have a cold, tell you if you have COVID,
Well, they said 30. It can test for over 30 things.
Good Lord.
That's incredible.
It's always that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or if somebody said, do you want to come up with a home testing kit? Like, no, let's come up with like a doorbell camera or something. And not that they're not hurting for money, but
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing. It seems like I knew a guy who, well, I shouldn't say I knew him, but when I landscaped, we used to work on these like insanely rich houses. I didn't know how rich you could be in Minnesota until I started working for these guys, this landscape company. And this dude invented like a little sprocket for water filtration that everybody used.
What? I would never think of that.
That's what I mean. Maybe you thought of something like that, but you didn't do anything about it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how you would think of something like that. But he came up with it, and I guess he just became, and he was a really bright dude.
Yeah.
But he just became sick rich because of it.
It's so difficult.
Little sprocket for water in, how do you say, filtration. And now he's dating Jennifer Lopez,
Yeah, well, it's funny because I had talked to the guy, and they were some of the, the owner of the landscape company was talking to him about stuff, and he was kind of joking about it. Like, this thing, and now everybody uses it, whatever it is.
These Everly kits are Everly these kits are insanely expensive.
Are they? What do they want for it?
About $200.
Oh!
Whoa.
All right, there's some ladies' socks. I mean, it's unbelievable how simple some of these things can be. A lady's socks made $20 million. This one made $24 million. It sounds like something you'd see advertised at 3 o'clock in the morning with the ShamWow guy and all that. The Drop Stop is a car seat gap filler that fits in between the space between your car seat and the center console to prevent anything from falling into that space.
Oh, that's sweet.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I've seen those before. I want that.
Well, where the hell am I going to put my boogers if there's something filling that?
No.
Boogers, he said, guys. You mentioned socks. Bombas socks also on Shark Tank. They made $1 billion.
Mm-hmm. Bombas socks?
If you've ever listened to a podcast, you're probably familiar with that. They advertise, it seemed like, on the majority of the podcasts I listen to.
What is special about Bombas socks?
Well, every pair that you buy, one gets donated to an organization that helps homeless people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And because I guess the founder, and I know this from all the podcast ads, they said they realized socks were one of the most needed items by homeless people. Yep. Something maybe you just wouldn't think about. So anytime you buy one, they donate one.
Yes, Wapple?
Those cool little scrub daddies, too, were on Shark Tank.
Oh, I love scrub daddies.
Yeah.
I have a scrub mommy right now.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me see if that's in here. What the hell's a scrub daddy and a scrub mommy? Oh. No, here it is. Oh, my God. Okay, here it is. Scrub Daddy, $209 million in sales.
People were texting about this.
They're so cute.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong. It says here, it's a smiley face-shaped sponge that changes hardness depending on water temperature.
Yeah.
It's firm under cold water. It's soft under hot water. So what do you use your Scrub Daddy on?
I use it on the dishes.
I use it, dishes, even clean the countertops.
Yeah, definitely
or
countertops. The oven. It's good for the
inside
oven.
of the sink, you do all the dishes and there's still crap in the sink. Clean that out.
Trying to find a couple more here that might grab you.
You can get one for $8.45 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's way better than a regular sponge.
Way better.
$5 million in sales for something called Safe Grab. It's some kind of a rubber mat you put in your microwave so when you pick up your bowl of soup, your hands don't burn.
Oh, I just saw that episode not too long ago.
What the hell is this? Janelle, is this how you look so pretty at 4 o'clock in the morning? Were you part of the $100 million in sales for the Sleep Styler? It's some kind of memory foam thing you put on your head and you leave it in your hair overnight and it styles your hair while you sleep.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Wouldn't that be like curlers almost?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but obviously a little more advanced than that. It's it's some kind of roller. You put it on your hairdo.
Huh?
There was one invention I saw on Shark Tank I really wanted to happen. I don't know why, but it was a fork, and it was a spaghetti fork. So you'd put your fork in the spaghetti, and then the handle of the fork was spiraled, and at the top you have a holder, so then you'd hold it with your fingers, you'd pinch it, and then you would roll your other hand down the handle, and it would spin the fork and spin your spaghetti.
Come on.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds like a hell of a lot of work just to have a meal.
Yeah, that'd be sweet, but so stupid.
It is really stupid. Tipsy elves
Oh, I've seen these around.
They sell
town.
ugly Christmas sweaters and other holiday-themed things. They've made $125 million.
I bought stuff off of their website.
Yeah, a lot of people buy those snowsuits. You can get like 80s snowsuits and stuff online from them.
Yeah, they've got some funny stuff.
Another one of these deals that sounds like, 3 a.m. television advertising. A wearable hoodie blanket called the Comfy. What was that one that we were with Peter Griffin used it to masturbate? That was the Snuggie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just like a rip-off Snuggie, but it's got do Snuggies have hoods too?
No. This is a blanket you wear with a hood on it. $250 million. Simply Fit board, an exercise board to help you strengthen your core. Who's got the best core of the five of us?
I'm going to guess Janelle.
No.
All right. Do you do like yoga or something?
I don't.
Squatty Potty, $175. Now, that's the one that I recognized right away, Squatty Potty.
People seem to love those.
Yeah, I heard those are great.
Oh, the stool, you put your feet up on it when you're sitting on the toilet.
Yep.
It's supposed to make it easier. Okay, I've ridden one of those. I didn't feel a difference at all. Squatty Potty made $175 million. Oh, here it is. Oh, the number one is that Bombas you were talking about. $1 billion in sales. Bombas, comfort-focused sock brand.
So were all these that you're reading things that they approved and actually were part of?
According to the article, yes.
That's actually a lot.
They've made some people some real serious, and I guess as we discussed already, the show, according to one or two people, the show's making a chunk out of that too. I wish I could come up with a decent friggin' idea once in a while.
I feel like we could. How about the five of us brainstorm? We could do this.
Okay, we got how many minutes in commercials do we have coming up, Whopper?
We got 4.5.
4.5 minutes. We'll try to come up with something collectively. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I haven't made money this easy since I invented the Yankin.
Peter, what's wrong?
Well, I want to masturbate, but I'm just so darn cold.
Too bad there's no answer for that problem.
But now there is. Hi, I'm Peter Griffin, creator of the Yankin. If you're anything like me, the number one problem in your life is that you can't masturbate just anywhere. But now you can. Introducing the Yankin, the only blanket with built-in decoy arms. Our patented process makes it look like you're holding the remote or sipping a beer. Meanwhile, your real hands are under the blanket, going to town.
Peter, what are you doing?
Nothing. Let's watch a Scarlett Johansson movie. But wait, there's more. We have Yankets for all occasions. Sporting events. At the supermarket. On the job.
Hey, what's going on under that blanket?
You'll never know.
Care 11's Janelle Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I just ordered mine.
Good God.
Got you one too, Janelle.
Is that from Shark Tank?
That might be one of the funniest lines in Family Guy history, and that show has had a lot of funny lines when Peter says, I want to masturbate, but I'm just so darn cold. How much pot do those guys go through writing that friggin' program? All right, here we are, 93X Half-Assed Morning Show with Janelle Klein. We're wrapping things up here in just a minute, but we were talking about the television show Shark Tank. Folks go on the show and they have these invention ideas, and it works or it doesn't. Some of them have made just piles and piles of money, and we rolled through some of the most successful in the history of the show. Oh, we challenged ourselves during that last commercial break. Janelle seems to think if we put our heads together, we could come up with something.
I disagree.
And become just insanely wealthy, and we could live happily ever after. Josh and I put our heads together to try to come up with a product to bring to the Shark Tank. Josh is so friggin' slick and skilled and smart, he even already constructed an advertisement for our product.
way.
If you have it ready, Josh.
Jump to conclusions, Matt. You see, it would be this mat that you would put on the floor and would have different conclusions written on it that you could jump to.
That is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life, Tom.
Yes, it's horrible.
So far, nobody's interested. You can buy a jump to conclusions mat on Amazon from Office Space.
That is you can. So good when the dude says, that is the worst idea. That's good stuff. I don't know. We're getting close to the end of the show. I'm getting weird over here. We did get some text messages on inventions. It's really interesting. A listener says a family friend of his invented the slip and slide.
Dude.
Oh,
I
wow.
love the slip and slide.
The slip and slide. Boy, I haven't careened out of control on one of those since I was probably 6 years old, but I remember the slip.
Those were a blast.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'd end up, clearing the slide itself, and you go, crashing into rocks and dirt. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you got to check for rocks underneath that thing.
I would always slide faster than the slip and slide should allow me to, and I'd end up in the yard, and then then the grass would make you itch. So I have some complaints about the slip and slide. I do. I don't know if this is a real invention or this is a listener calling out for it to be made. This would piss off you truck drivers. Some kind of remote control for backing up a trailer? Has anyone heard of that invention?
No,
or is this
never.
This could just be wishful thinking? It sounds like maybe our listener is looking for, instead of using the steering wheel, you're looking over, you know how it is to back up maybe some kind of a joystick. Just saying. He's throwing it out there. Again, truck drivers will kick your ass for even bringing the idea up. But
so I don't have that stuff on my pickup, the like the trailer brake, thing you pinch, and there's like ones that you can, there's like different, I guess I'm not even aware of all the technology, but I know when they were offering packages, they talked about some of that stuff.
Right. Boring cat lady she's texted the program. I didn't know this was in our conversation on Shark Tank. According to Boring Cat Lady Sheezes, the Lumi deodorant started on Shark Tank. You know the Lumi?
Yes, I've heard of that.
Those commercials are everywhere. Josh and I have a kind of a sexual crush on the lady who advertises it.
Yeah, there's something about her. I don't know what it is.
Talking about that, some kind of...
Loom. Is it Loom? I thought it was Loom.
It's like a stick deodorant. You put it between your legs. You put it on your ass crack. You put it on your back of your... It's just... Boring Cat Lady, she says, claims that started on Shark Tank, but she says she hates those effing commercials. Yuck, she says, to Lumi products. I love this stuff. I want to get my... I thought they're coming up with a dude's version, too, for Lumi. Anyone know? Even heard of that?
Nope.
I want to put that stuff all over my body.
Me, too. Watch the commercial as I do it.
Mm-hmm. And finally, one more text message here on inventions. We already got a couple text messages from listeners who use Lumi and they love it. So there you go. Nasty Electrician Jesus said he drank a bunch of Steve Weisers one night and he thought he was about to get rich inventing a light-up ice fishing rattle reel. He said his dreams were shot down with one simple Google search.
Yeah.
That's the worst, right?
It was a sad day for Nasty Electrician Jesus.
Well, I've mentioned before, a buddy of mine's dad, he invented the Flowbee before the Flowbee was a thing. And he never thought to take it to market. If you're not familiar, it became kind of a joke. But people are saying you can still buy them. It was essentially some clippers, right? Razor for your head that attached to a vacuum hose. And he would cut my friend's hair. He would cut our hair with this thing. And the idea is, then there's not hair everywhere when you shave a head.
Yeah.
And then he saw those commercials and he's like, son of a bitch!
That's a great idea.
All right, people are texting in and saying the man version of the Lumi deodorant stick that you put on your ass, your crotch, your face, the bottoms of your feet. The male version is out already, and it's called Mando. So you might want to... I'm going to take a look on the internet for that because I'm beginning to smell bad, and I could use all the help I can get. Ron Fist Jesus says his uncle invented the microwave turntable.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Thank you to your uncle.
Yeah. How the hell would I have a meal if it wasn't for your uncle? All right, we got to shut her down. It's the end of another program. Janelle, thanks again for sticking it out with us from the damn start to the very final.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's great having you here.
This has really been a good time.
You know you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. I mean, is it possible to get you 3 days in a row?
I don't think I can tomorrow. I was just telling you.
All right, then we can't either.
I doubt it.
You're not going to be able to make it?
I doubt it.
All right.
But another time.
We pull the offer off the table.
As soon as someone else gets sick, please call.
All right.
Absolutely.
Pine City Jesus, he wanted to give one last shout out to Nick Saban today. He feels the legendary coach wasn't discussed much on the program for being the legend. that he actually is. Hashtag Roll Tide. If you were listening to Randy Shaver Sports earlier, you understand that joke.
I thought he was going to start to cry the way Randy was talking about Nick Saban. Jiminy Christmas, that was miserable.
Happy early birthday. Shout out to Optical Jesus. He's listening now, so we wanted to make sure we could recognize him. He's got a birthday on Monday. And happy birthday to former Gravedigger Crew Chief Jesus from Wisco Monster Truck Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.